Yeah, yo. Woke up in the morning and to God be the glory. Thankful for another day to tell my story. Put my opinions in the universe and let them orbit. I'm from the dirty south with a dirty mouth, might need orbit. Miss things on me like a nigga Norbit. Had to refuse them cause my bitch no Rasputia, she gorgeous. As I dap my sons up and kiss my daughter forehead. Tell them we gon' get this money till my pockets morbid. Remember living in apartments, now we playing mortgage.
You don't even need to be on there. They talking about you enough. Because I was telling Big Cat, like, for like 3 weeks, I couldn't even be on there. Because like every third video I seen was about me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is annoying as fuck.
It's good, man, no. It's good. You driving interesting conversations.
Yeah.
Different perspectives. That's what I respect. That's what I like. Yeah. That's why I fucked with your content in the beginning.
I mean, that is science. You know what I mean? That is what y'all do.
What you mean?
To a degree, it's a varying... So it's different perspectives about facts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the thing that gets muddy on TikTok or social media is that all of us are having opinions about opinions.
Yeah.
But fact-based things and how you arrive at the facts is also very interesting.
The problem is people be having opinions about facts as well.
That's a bad thing. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
I don't have opinions about facts. If it's true, it's just true. But I think the the community of science has always been very interesting to me because it was one of like language arts and science was like my two favorite subjects in school.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. But I like random fact. I like fungus.
Fungus is crazy, man.
I'm just like, I'm astounded by it. I watch that shit for hours.
Bro, did you know that the antibiotics that we get, like when you pop antibiotics, you go to the hospital and they give you penicillin?
Yeah,
this comes from a fungus.
Yeah, so
fungus
this is
evolved
black grandma law, bro. If bread got mold on it, they'll tell you it's like, there ain't nothing but penicillin. Just eat it.
Is it? I don't know if that's the right fungus.
I don't know if the penicillin comes from yeast based product, but like I know my granny was like, it ain't a big deal.
Yeah.
She's like, if it's a little dot of mold on it, it ain't gonna kill you. Now, if the whole loaf gone, let that be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I don't know about
I don't know nothing about that shit. My granny wasn't no fucking biologist either. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Just country, bro. My grandma from Thomaston, Georgia. So it's like...
Oh, yeah, are you from Georgia?
I'm from North Carolina originally. Okay. But I grew up...
What city?
Wilmington.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's like a little rural, right? It's a little more rural?
No, it's actually... It's a coastal city. Okay. So it's where they shot Dawson's Creek at.
I didn't watch Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, me neither. But I know that because that's where they shot it, and it was like all the craze at our school. Like they're shooting Dawson's Creek. I was like, I never watched it.
Did that influence you heavily, Dawson's Creek?
Fuck you, a funny nigga.
Like, damn, that actually makes sense. Dawson's Creek.
No, well, I think the bigger thing was the thing that I knew about my city was it was a site for like Civil War.
Yeah.
Cape Fear is a big thing. Gullah Geechee history is heavy there. Driving black people off into the swamps. One of the first coups in the country happened in Wilmington, North Carolina, where they overthrew a predominantly black Republican government.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then one of the biggest printing presses in North Carolina was ran by a black man out of Wilmington, and then the port itself. So a lot of people, when we was growing up, when they got that good job, they worked at the port. Either as like crane operator, forklift, whatever. And that was like, shit, it's like either that or like 84 Lumber. 84 Lumber had like a huge fucking plant in the middle of our city. So it was like you either work at 84 Lumber or you work at the port. Yeah. Or you go to the local college, UNCW, and you go on about your business. So, but I left there when I was 13, moved here, moved to Douglasville. My mom from Atlanta, so it's like, okay, yeah, shit.
This is actually my first time being in Atlanta.
Real?
I ain't never been here.
From where?
I'm from Indiana. Mostly been in the Midwest. I went to school at University of Cincinnati, and I played ball at Lexington, Kentucky at UK. Yeah. And then I lived in D.C. for a little bit, which I really like D.C. And then I've been in L.A. since 2020. That's where I did my PhD.
Oh, yeah, word. Yeah, I fuck with D.C. too.
D.C. is cool. D.C. is probably my favorite place I ever lived, honestly. It was the first place I really lived at where there was a big population of like young black professionals. And I guess living in Atlanta, it's like obviously this is a very black city. But most cities that I've been in, you know, black is always like this small minority.
Yeah, DC and Atlanta are big on that. Like, I think the thing, because of where I'm at with it now, like being in media, I meet a lot of people that are in like entertainment industry, but like you talking about, you go to a party and it's like all of these different entertainment professionals, from lawyers to managers to like people that just represent brands and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
that's dope.
Yeah, like high level executives and shit, and all of them be black. It should be lit as hell.
Yeah,
it's like a certain comfort of operating in the space where it's like, even though I'm new to this, I feel very welcome. You know what I mean? Whereas like, I would say in a place where you like LA, you're gonna be in the extreme minority in spaces like that.
Yeah, and a lot of the energy is weird in LA. It made sense for what I wanted to do. My co-host Justin Schaefer, he's also a STEM educator. He's like more on the tech side. That's my dog, and he recently built us a studio in Tulsa, which is cool because also you have like the Black Wall Street component. Yeah, and the city is having a little bit of a revitalization. Maybe like a early Austin, Texas, where like the tech scene is growing a little bit. Yeah. And so he just built us a studio out there. But there's actually a large black population, obviously, still in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And it's cool to kind of see it start to bounce back in that way.
Would you say that the tech space in Tulsa is similar to Austin in the sense that it's like overrun with tech people?
Nah, like in early Austin, right?
Yeah, because they kind of like shitted on Austin. Like they kind of like ruined Austin.
Yeah, it's the if you go back, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago, before where it was Rogan. Starting to grow.
Okay, before pre-Rogan Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he drove a lot of people there during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was actually that was right around the time when I stopped watching that show.
Yeah, I used to watch it too, man. I feel like there used to be a lot of interesting conversations.
Bro, it was that. Okay, so for example, having you here is part of like my like whole antithesis about how I want to do interviews. I don't want to just interview people like necessarily for being in podcasting or for necessarily being like popular. I'd rather talk to people about like what their career is and like who they are. Like you being a black astrophysicist, starting out as a D1 athlete, that's like crazy. Yeah. Crazy transition, you know what I mean? Yeah. You go, cause like a lot of people don't transition out of sports into
it's hard,
anything
man.
significant, you know what I mean?
It's hard. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, first of all, Deontay at DeontayKyle.com. For business booking and inquiries, DeontayKyle.com for all updates. Grits and Eggs, GRITSNEGGS for all the merch. So you got these new windbreakers.
That is a hard jacket.
Fly. Big Cat got on a fly ass windbreaker. Big Cat, you want to come show them the Solon National Heritage windbreaker real quick?
Which one? We in the middle. We're gonna get you in the middle line.
Yeah, come back.
You can stay right there.
Yeah. Point
you gotta go
from the back is crazy, my nigga. Yeah, that was a crazy wordplay. That was wild wordplay right there.
He be seeing me perfectly in between y'all. You gotta turn around and show everybody the fit, son.
You know what I'm saying? Feel me, Big Cat, whatever. I'm out of here, man.
All right. Yeah. I'm just saying we having windbreakers, we having hoodies, we having hats, we having bucket hats. And then, of course, you know, some of our knickknacks like...
we gotta do it again in the camera.
Oh, shit.
We'll do it after. We'll plug it in after, son.
Yeah.
Okay, bet. We can do that after.
Whatever. It's
you got a switchboard you using?
Yeah.
We'll plug it.
Yeah, how did you get the angle right and then not switch it?
Because I was worried about getting him in the frame. And
it's all right. It's all good. It's okay. What else? The Friendsgiving show, by the time y'all see this, it'll be sold out. It's already like 75% sold out in one day. So, sorry guys. You know, we'll catch you at the next one. yeah. Clap it up for selling tickets. You know what I'm saying? But we just added a late night show to the Brooklyn, December 5th, Brooklyn, Isola. We'll be live there. I think we already sold out the first show, so second late night show is starting now. Go get your tickets. And yeah, man, that's it. That's all the plugs.
New Music Monday.
We saving that for Mondays. They don't pay attention when we do it here.
Do they?
But NMM at DeontayKyle.com. That's New Music Monday for music submissions. NMM at New Music Monday. NMM at DeontayKyle.com for music submissions. And advice at DeontayKyle.com for all advice submissions. 657-234-EGGS. That's 657-234-3447. We have a very special guest today. I guess you just walked into the midst of our conversation. But started out as a D1 athlete and is now astrophysicist, doctor of astrophysics.
Master of the universe.
Yeah. I was gonna say astrophysicism, nigga.
Don't say astrology.
Yeah, no, we know the difference. We know the difference.
Astrology.
Dr. Dakotah Tyler is in the building. Let's round of applause. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. Yeah, been excited, man. I've been liking your content since it came across my feed. So
as soon as I seen you talking about the moon and the stars with a grill in your mouth, I was like, this nigga's the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is my
that
guy.
means a lot.
Yeah, man. I fuck with it completely. Especially being a thing that it's like, man, we don't see ourselves represented in that space a lot. You know what I mean?
In a lot of spaces.
In a lot of spaces.
Yeah.
Especially big brain spaces. You know what I mean? I think a lot. We talk about this a lot about being more than what we can do with our bodies, both like physical labor and like athletics wise. So it's good that you are like making content surrounding some real big brain activity and showing people like what's the possibilities for.
Yeah, man, I love it, and I love to try and connect with other, especially young people, especially black men. Maybe that are on that path, that athletic path. I remember when I was young, it wasn't that I like didn't think that I could do science. I just really didn't care about it. Yeah. You know, everybody that I looked up to was an athlete, you know, a celebrity, something like that. And it just never occurred to me that this was a cool thing to do, a fun thing to do, to be curious about the universe. And it's something that you could do. Like if you work hard, if you have that value and that work ethic, you could build out your math skill. You could do anything, honestly.
Absolutely.
If you work towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just applied knowledge too. It's like, I'm going to focus on being better at this. You know, just like anything else, the same thing you would do if as an athlete. What sport did you play?
Football.
So what position?
Guess.
Because the football player.
Is it a fullback or a linebacker?
Damn. So that means I gained a lot of weight. I played safety. I was a defensive back.
Shit.
But when everybody says, they say you kind of look like a linebacker.
Yeah, but you also, what, how...
34.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. And 20, and 20, that's a free safety.
Cool.
You got free safety. You know what I'm saying? You like 5'11" too?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's free safety.
About 5'11", 6'1", 6'2", you know, something like that.
We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. You know, you in science, it's all about the facts, my nigga.
Yeah, man. I mean, it depends on what ruler you're using, what measuring tape.
What type of cleats you got on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so this being like, there's a lot of head trauma coming in that space too.
That's serious.
So I think that it's such a crazy pivot to make. You know what I mean? Yeah. What was the leading factors into like, okay, I'm gonna go into this? Like, what sparked the curiosity?
For me, it was very clearly I got injured when I was in my junior year. And during the rehab period, I kept getting re-injured. And eventually, it was a slow process, but eventually I came to the realization I just can't even train on the level that I need to get to the next level. So it was that being taken away, which was very depressing, right? Losing my identity, losing the thing that I thought was going to make me successful, the thing that I thought people liked me for, which isn't even wrong. Like that is what people like me for.
Right.
Not having that. And I started watching these documentaries. I started watching this show called Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I just got interested in the universe. It was like, it was cathartic in a way, because here I am. I feel like my whole universe was like collapsing in on me, that it was all over. And there's actually like countless other planets that could be it could be an alien on another planet right now that just had an injury and like ruined they playing career for whatever glort ball or whatever they playing. Right? And it's like, that's fascinating to think about. And I think it like freed my mind in a way where I was like, well, what if I become an astrophysicist? And then I just went through all of those steps, started at community college, working at night, got into a bachelor's program, working full time, and just like proved to myself that, if I work at this, just practice. Like, that from sports.
Yeah.
When you practice the skill, you get better at it.
Exactly.
It's fair. It sucks because you got to put in the work, but it's fair. And I found that was the case for learning math, learning physics, learning that logic.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the point I was getting at when I asked what position, because there's certain like skill sets that you have to have as a safety that you have to work on a physical level, whether that just be like lateral movement and shit like that, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like reading the offense, all these different things. The more you focus on that one particular set of skills, the better you're going to get at it. And it's just going to expand your tool belt. So I think it's like the same can be said about everything, because I was 22. I never liked painting. I was always into like illustration, but I never liked painting because it's like it didn't feel the same. It wasn't the same skill as drawing. So like you would do this like elaborate like outline drawing, and it would look amazing, and then you would put paint on it. It's like this looks like dog shit. It's like and so like I was just like, oh, I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just focus on the illustration part. And I seen this documentary by Jean-Michel Basquiat called Boom for Real. And it was about how like he was such a like classically trained artist. Like, you know, he could do like portraits that look like real life, but like he was known for these like childish, the Basquiat style of painting of this right here. You know what I mean? Like this is what he's known for, right? And I was like, oh, so it doesn't have to be like rigid. I can just kind of like self-express with these colors, but I don't have to copy him. You know what I mean? I could just figure out what my lane is. And as I got more like fine-tuned with the skill of painting and understand like shading and things like that, then it's just like, oh, it just morphs into this whole other thing where it's like you just start finding your style. Yeah. But it took a focus on like, it took the initial curiosity and intrigue, and then that turns into like just working on skill sets. Same thing you did. Yeah. So it's safe to say, so you got your scholarship to University of Kentucky. Yeah. Injury, they just kind of...
No, it was good. I finished out. I finished my degree there, but it wasn't a degree where I had any math or physics or anything. Right. So I still kind of had to start from the beginning. Okay. But in the sport of football and usually basketball, definitely at D1 schools, I don't know if it has changed with the new NIL stuff, but your scholarship was good. Like even if my freshman year I would have had a career-ending injury, I should have been, at least, you know, based on what they told me, maybe they were lying, I would be good for that whole time. So I think that is a benefit in the money-making sports like basketball and football, is that you do have a little bit of security there. But like other sports, I know people who were on the volleyball team. I know women on the volleyball team who got injured and they just took their scholarship away like sophomore year.
Yeah, you know what? Football players is like, the reputation for being like kind of meatheads is not like really what that is, because I was with what's his name, Martellus Bennett.
Yeah, tight end.
You familiar with him? I was speaking at a panel at Rice University, and Martellus Bennett was there. First of all, fucking giant. Yeah. Like I was like, this nigga's intimidating. You know what I'm saying? Like how big he is, but he dresses in like very like eccentric, flowy clothing. And I was like, this shit throwing me off a little bit, you know what I mean? And then come to find out, like, he's sewing all of his clothing because he can't find clothes that fit him. And he writes children's books. And he's turned these children's books into, like, now he, like, works with Disney about creating, like, full-blown, like, animations for children and shit like that. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, he was the truth in football. Now it's like, you know, he doing this, but like he leveraged his connections and his sport to like get him into things that he was actually passionate about. Yeah. And I think you kind of utilizing your skill set to kind of, okay, this is what I know from this sport. Now I'm going to utilize that to like focus in on this endeavor that I'm like super interested in.
That was critical. That was critical for me to realize that the thing that I relied on in sports, which for me is like the work ethic, the drive, the dedication, just being a dog and how I worked at things. I could apply that anywhere else. And now I like still do. You could do it in content, right? You could do it in editing. You could do it in strategizing. It works across the board. It's
transferable skill.
It's very transferable. Yeah. But we're not taught that. Yeah. Right? You're just praised for like doing the thing, for being good at the sport. And you know, that's dangerous. It can be hard to make that transition. And I think every athlete has to make it at some point. Right. Or even every young man who comes to the point where they realize, like, I don't know if you ever had dreams to go to the NFL or the
I wanted to go to the MLB.
Or the MLB, right? Yeah. And then it's like a day comes when you're like, all right, well, that's actually not going to happen. For some people, as younger as older.
Basketball was out. Like,
yeah, it's some 5'11" dudes. How tall are you? Like five?
I'm 5'10". 5'10". I'm gonna tell you, like, when I went to high school,
good. You can't shoot.
No, when I went to high school,
I'm just
this nigga.
No, asking, bro. Look, I'm curious, dog. That's my
nah. That's your whole thing.
It's my whole thing.
No, but eighth grade, I played for middle school, and like niggas was coming back from the summer like hella taller than me. Then when I went to ninth, I'm still the same height, 8th grade to 9th grade. Yeah, and niggas is like 6'1", 6'2". I'm like, oh, this is out. It's no, I can't. There's no catching up in height.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just a thing that's naturally gonna happen. Because my son now he's 14 and he's 6'2", and it's like. Yeah, like that's how it's supposed to happen. It's a natural progression. I'm stunted. So it don't matter how good my shot is. I can't drive the lane. I'm getting my shit blocked. All these niggas stronger than me. Mm-hmm. I'm good on this. Baseball was kind of like even. You know what I mean? It don't height really don't matter if you can connect with that bat. But man, I started smoking and shit. I was like, I'm cool on this. I'm like, I'm straight.
Yeah,
I'm straight. Like I didn't have a drive in me where it's like I really want to be a professional athlete. After a while, it was just like. Yeah, this shit kind of boring. But
what did you have a drive for?
Initially I wanted to be an animator.
Yeah.
Yeah. So drawing was like always the biggest thing.
So you've always felt compelled creatively.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like when you get into high school sports, especially if you're really good, there's like a politic around it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's odd too because like. Me being better than the person who was starting when I showed up to that school didn't matter because he had been coaching them since second grade and he knew their parents. And it's like the decision to win was less important than the decision to keep relationships and shit.
Yeah.
I was only black kid on the team too. It was weird.
Oh, Dawson's Creek High.
No, not Dawson's Creek High. Douglas County. It was only one. What's your boy name? He was the only other black baseball player. He played varsity when I came in.
Yeah. You talking about baseball? Yeah, man.
Dawson's Creek.
So I told you I don't know.
So Wilmington, where I went to school, where I would have went to high school, was actually the same school as Michael Jordan, Laney High School.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I moved out here, it was Douglas County High.
Got you. Dawson's
Creek was just a show, my nigga.
Bro, I don't know nothing about it, man. I don't know nothing about your culture, bro, where you came from,
culture.
Bro. I don't know.
Your culture.
I'm learning, man. I'm always learning.
You're funny.
I'm always learning, bro.
Your culture over there at Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
But I think the thing for me was like, okay, athletics might not be my jam, but creative.
Man, I think that's a blessing. Unless you can go all the way, I do think that's a blessing because you think like as we get older, our neuroplasticity in our brain goes down. It becomes like a little bit more difficult to learn things and to change who we are. And that is dangerous when you've solidified your identity around something.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I think we see that with retired athletes. I'll speak on football specifically when we talk about CTE, which is obviously a condition that's degenerative in the brains of athletes that play violent sports. But I think that just compounds the fact that you have a grown man who has a completely concrete identity around this specific thing that he is, his skill set, what he can and can't be. And then that's removed.
Yeah.
Like, where do you go from there?
For you, in that respect, was it... I know you spoke about, like, kind of like a period of depression, because it is a loss of identity. Mm-hmm. Was realizing that you could actually, like, succeed in this other endeavor, and it wasn't, like, based on physicality or based on, like, you know, just knowing the right people or connections, but it's more so based on, like, how well I know the information and how well I can apply the information. Did that start to, like, build a confidence back in you? How long did it take for you to kind of get the funk of being an athlete as an identity off you?
I would say that I still had a strong identity around being able to outwork people. I'm like have some genetic gifts to be able to play sports at a high level, but I also worked extremely hard. Right? I'm not like huge. I'm not like DK Metcalf or something like that. I'm a normal sized person, and that work ethic, I knew that I could outwork the people around me, but I also realized that everything is not always about performance. Networking is still a thing. And I realized that I actually had this advantage over many other scientists because I can be social. I could be outgoing. I could build these relationships. And people who are higher up, maybe that's advisors, professors, people with opportunities, you want to give opportunities to people you like.
Yeah, for sure.
And if somebody is able to like build that relationship and plant these seeds, then that was also something that could help. So I feel like I was always seeing everything as a potential opportunity. I talk about this as being a black man in this field that's like less than 1% black. Well, one of the reasons that being black or brown in some of these sciences is so difficult is because you don't know the unwritten rules, right? There's like a culture. There's a way things are done that you may not know about, right? It's like very gatekeepy. And how do you like penetrate that barrier? One way that you could do it, one way that I chose to do it, the way I chose to look at it, is to kind of come into every room, every collaboration, every opportunity with this mindset that, you know, if I show up curious, outgoing, sort of assume the best, assume good faith on people. And yeah, sure, some people don't want to see me succeed. Some people hate me for whatever reason. But I just always tried to maintain the most control over what I actually could control.
Right.
Which was how I walked into that situation. And for me, it's been able to work out, which is not the case for everybody.
Right. I think the part of sports that is like, kind of like undermining some aspects is like the social part of it. Like you do create like a very good like ability to be social because especially athletics, like football specifically, that's 22 players in starting position.
It's a team sport.
It's a lot of people though. You know what I mean? It's a lot of personalities to manage, even as an individual or a player. And then also too, at that young level, high school, college, it's a competitive position too. So there needs a certain level of banter that you got to keep up with too. That is like really transferable in real life, where it's like not taking yourself too seriously, but also very confident in your skill set. Was the growing up in like you grew up in Indianapolis? Yeah. What was your parents into? Like, what did they do?
My mom works for an insurance company. My pops works at an aerospace company. He was like in aerospace. They build engines, I believe.
So he was on more mechanical side of it.
Definitely. Yeah.
So how did they feel like when you made the leap to go into astrophysics?
Interestingly, so at the time, you know, I got hurt. And I was talking to my pops. We hadn't talked in many years. We had like a bad relationship, especially when him and my mom broke up. And I maybe didn't talk to him for like 6 years or something like that. And I met up with him at a bar one day. This was after I graduated from UK. After I got injured, knew football was over, but before I had, you know, found anything else. And first of all, I immediately recognized that a ton of the things in my personality are copied off of him, or they like came from him, which was cool, interesting to see. And he was like, randomly, man, when you were in 3rd or 4th grade, didn't you think space was cool? And I don't remember being like a space kid, but I do remember thinking like a picture of Jupiter was cool. Right. And he just threw that out there, you know, trying to help. And he didn't know that while I was injured, I actually started watching these astronomy documentaries. And I was like, hey, actually, I think space is pretty cool. I've been watching documentaries. And he was like, well, why don't you just become an astrophysicist? Like, why don't you become an astronomer? And I remember at first kind of being shocked at the prospect. Like, what do you mean? That means I would have to go back to school. I had this thing where I thought that I would be behind like my peers, all my friends. They were either like going to play ball or, you know, they were going to get jobs as managers or whatever at a store. And I just had this feeling like, well, I'm going to be behind. And then my pops, he put it in a way that always has stuck with me. You know, when I'm 80, 90 years old on my deathbed, I'm not going to care that I had started making a little bit more money a little bit sooner. But what I will care about is, did I live that last 60 years of my life doing what I loved? Like fulfilling my purpose, having my unique impact. And I kind of took that and protected that and kept that with me, you know, through that entire journey, a long journey, like 10 years to go from community college to graduating this past June, so just a few months ago.
Yeah. Me and my my friend was having a situation where like his kid was struggling with math, and I was like, you know, focus on the tutoring aspect of that, like just understanding these basic skills, but don't think about it as like they're behind, because they're excelling at something that somebody else is behind in. Like our kids, like we all have like these strengths and weaknesses, right? And I was like, between like 10 and 12, on a basic level, we all kind of taper out at the same spot. And then people kind of delve into their interests. Like, so me not really caring about like history, I was just like, it's odd like how much I care about it now. But it's like in school, I was like, I'm gonna just focus on language arts. This is my shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you would see that with everybody. And the same thing is applied to that. Like, even if you get started later, the skill set that you come into it with is not the same, where it can kind of put you in a position where you're just right on par with everybody else. You know what I mean? But that's bruh, that's good to have like sage advice from your pops in that time, because that's a pivotal moment, bro.
Yeah, and you know, I was so depleted and deflated with that mountain of identity and path just disintegrating while I was on it, that I was very much receptive to almost anything.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, you know, you think metaphorically, like literally anything in the universe. And that is what it was that kind of got me on that path. So, you know, I don't know if it would have been possible had things worked out any other way.
So astrophysics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I want to put an ism on it so bad. But astrophysics, it's like a spectrum. Is it like a spectrum of study? Like, is there a certain like specific place where you like focus on in it?
It is for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got people that may study stars, black holes. Some people study galaxies, which is just like a huge collection of stars. Some people study like the history of the universe, how things have changed over time. I study what are called exoplanets. So, you know, we live on Earth. We got Jupiter, Mars, the other planets that orbit the sun. But at night, when you see stars out, you can't see the planets that they have, but most of them do also have planets. And so I study those planets that orbit other stars. That's like my specific niche. You know, I'm thinking about like habitability. I'm thinking about alien life. Like, how do you get a planet that's something like Earth? Is it possible? How common is it? So yeah, I specifically study exoplanets.
Yeah. How did you land there? Like, is that just like where? Okay, this is the coolest shit to me. I'm gonna just focus on that. Is that where you was at with it?
Yeah, I think I had this idea early on before I really knew that much that you could have like any type of planet. Like maybe there's a planet that's just completely made of gold. Yeah. Or like silver, or one that's made of diamond, or one where X, Y, and Z. And that was like before I understood those things aren't really possible, and you know, in that fantastical way. But I think it was the prospect of sort of infinite possibilities that was very attractive to me at that time. And then as I started learning more, I started like realizing how much of a nerd that I actually was and how cool it is to think about these other planets and that we can study them. Like you get a telescope, I can look at the atmosphere of another planet and then try to interpret what is going on that planet. Is there life? Is there some weird condition that makes it completely uninhabitable?
What differentiates those things though? What differentiates a star from a planet, so to speak?
Okay, so a star like the sun, which we are orbiting, is basically all hydrogen. It's just in helium. It's basically just a bunch of gas. It's so much gas that it's so heavy. The gravity is so strong that in the core, it like is smashing atoms together, which produces energy, which is why the sun, you know, releases energy. A planet is going to be something that's much, much smaller, usually made of rock. They can be gaseous as well. Like Jupiter has just a bunch of gas. You couldn't really land on it if you went there on a spaceship. But planets are much smaller and they orbit stars. A star also you couldn't land on, but it's like this enormous fusion reactor in the sky, just pumping out a constant supply of solar radiation of energy.
Yeah, bro, you like my Neil deGrasse Tyson, bro. Like,
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro, like I'm fucking with this completely. Is it true that like Jupiter rains diamonds or some shit like that? I be reading mad facts and shit.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a number of things that you can intuit or that you can assume based on the physics that we know. So, on Jupiter, we know that there's a lot of.
Can you hold that thought 1 second?
Yeah.
Hey, it's gonna be an in or out type vibe. So we either gonna sit here and chill, or we gonna be out there watching TV. Okay, go ahead. You good? Do you need anything? You need water? You need anything? Ferg, where's the water at?
There's water right there.
Can you grab her one real quick? You good?
I like your pants. Stars.
Yeah, that's your whole jam. Nah, I'm telling you, because you know I be singularly focused on you, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Can I get one of those as well?
Ferg.
Can I get a water?
You want water too?
Yeah, that's
well. Yeah, I got water right here. I'm cool. Yeah, you know. Because you know you got my antennas is up and focused on you, baby.
You a dad, man. You such a dad.
I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But yeah, if you want to go watch TV, do that, and we'll be wrapped up here in like another hour. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. We can go get food after. What did she say?
Chick-fil-A.
You want Chick-fil-A? I wish it was Sunday. Yeah, all right. I got you. Nothing. I was just joking, baby. I'm just joking.
Sure.
You want the pizza? Okay. Go watch TV. So Jupiter, raining diamonds.
Oh, right. So we know, like I said, Jupiter is mostly gas, so you couldn't land on it. But we know that Jupiter has a lot of carbon in its atmosphere. Like, that's something we can see. I can take a telescope, get a little spectrometer, and I can tell that there's carbon there. Well, you know, what happens to carbon when it's compressed under great pressure? You get a diamond, right? This is how diamonds are formed. And so you could imagine that on Jupiter, it has like these insane weather patterns that are very different than what we go through because it's basically all gas. So you could imagine carbon that is like pressurized in a certain area within the planet turning into diamonds and being like blown around by these high velocity, high speed winds, and they're literally being diamonds flying around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like,
hard.
yeah, when you study the planet, you can start to infer that these things must happen.
Right.
I don't think that we ever went and saw, and you know what I'm saying? They saw
Correct.
like a diamond storm,
Yeah.
but we saw like some electricity that superheated some carbon in the atmosphere, and we say, oh, well, you know, that probably turned into some soot that got pressurized and then turned into a diamond.
That's gotta be. That shit sound fun, bro. Like, cause it's like, yeah, like you say, it's a lot of inference, but it's also like just theorizing all the time too.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So the curiosity theory, what is that?
Curiosity Theory, that's my podcast. My co-host, Justin Schaefer, he is a STEM educator as well, but he's more so on the tech side. He does a lot of like AI usefulness workshops, talks to kids, that sort of thing. And man, we wanted to start a podcast where I think we both really aligned on wanting to build our own platform. You know, I've definitely had this experience in science where it feels like I would get overlooked for opportunities that I was more than qualified for people who are less than qualified. And I suspect that it has a lot to do with how I present myself, how I look, how I sound, and how the people with those opportunities view who they want to give them to.
Right.
And I'm just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it just got to the point where I was like, well, we should just make our own platform, build this ourselves, platform who we think is interesting, platform the scientists that we want to talk to. And so we get in deep on space, really all things science.
Yeah.
Space is obviously my bag. We recently had an immunologist on, so we got deep into like the medical misinformation and medical mistrust and that sort of thing. But yeah, we talk about space science, tech, curiosity theory. We're fresh.
Yeah.
We're on episode 22. So
I
only
think,
been like 4 months, 4.5
but
months.
I think honestly, because, you know, the accolades matter, you know what I'm saying? Especially in the field that you're in. It's like, you know, being a doctor, having a PhD, it matters, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it qualifies you for a lot of things, but it doesn't like change necessarily the structure or system that you're stepping into. Mm-hmm. So, but I think with creating a visibility for yourself, it'll create opportunity.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you kind of got a back door, like, you know what I'm saying? Create your own avenue into these spaces. I see that like often you're doing like keynote speaking and things like that. Can you tell me more about?
That's actually why I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah. So you want to talk more about what you came out here for?
Yeah. So there's this conference called the Institute on Teaching and Mentoring. Basically, I believe it's called the Southern Regional Education Board. It's like a coalition of universities in the South, and Black early career researchers, scholars, grad students all come to this conference. And I gave a talk on like personal branding and the importance as an academic of building an online presence, an online brand, leveraging the internet, because you can, it's what you said, you get your own exposure, your own visibility.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that like, if you think about the scientific revolution, going back to like the 1700s, the most famous scientists were usually the people who came up with like the most important equation or found out the most revelational discovery. But now I would say that the most well-known scientists are the ones who talk about it online.
Yeah.
So like I have surpassed visibility of people who've been doing science a lot longer
Absolutely.
than me. And it's like this low hanging fruit of being able to communicate in this way, be a visual representative for people in the community and just show that this is something that we can do.
Yeah, it's literally my favorite thing about TikTok.
Yeah.
It's the fact that like I can be scrolling one day and see you and it's like, this guy grills and all type of shit, but he's talking like about astrophysics and then it's like, I was like, it's an actual astrophysicist. Like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Now I'm like, okay, I'm all in on Dr. Dakotah Tyler. Like, I'm going. I was like, I probably spent. That's how I just when I discovered people. We talking about a 3 or 4 hour period of me just like everything this nigga has ever done ever, and I was like, it's so interesting to see somebody that is reflective of me, but speaking as an expert, but also like fun and personable and like. You have like a spectrum of things you talk about as well, because now you kind of get into more like social commentary. We talked about like the LeBron thing online, but we'll get into that in a second. But I just think like it's my favorite thing about TikTok. Like I literally found out so much about the Dust Bowl from this one creator who was like this is her area, like this is what she focuses on in history, and like the way she was able to detail everything down to like. When we talked about like how the Lotus was like eating people's clothes off of them because it was like they literally had no food source, so they was just like eating anything that they can get to, and oftentimes
that's
it was
terrifying.
Like,
by the way,
bro. This is like, so she told this story, and it's a documented story from this like the kid documented this story because him and his dad was like walking, and then there was a dust storm, and there was also like mixing dust storm was like a whole bunch of fucking Lotus, and. His dad was like ducked down, and when his dad came up, he had no fucking clothes on.
It's like a cartoon.
Yeah, it was cartoonish, and I was like, I actually didn't believe it. And then she was like, and if you don't believe me, here's the source. I was like, oh shit, she's citing her sources. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I think that it's been like one of the most interesting parts of it for me, especially even like I'm literally here because of TikTok, and it's like because I was driving trucks and I had opinions and. I think I had well-informed opinions too. Like I wasn't just speaking out my ass, but I think it was like people gravitate to that. Like, yeah, he is a truck driver, but he also like has a knowing of this situation that he's talking about, whether it be black communal issues or just good takes about social commentary. And shit, it's like led me into having this. And then
man. Thing. That's one of the things that I love about your content. So you bring up like being a truck driver, but then still having the confidence to know that you're thinking about these things. You have something interesting to add. To me, an intellectual is more than anything else. It's about being able to take in like this flux of all this information and think about it yourself. Yeah. Like kind of create your own filter for this information. What makes sense? What is a different way to look at it? And then you'll give these takes that are from a perspective that I, for example, may not have ever heard before. And I appreciate that. And it doesn't even matter if I necessarily agree with you or not. It's the fact that you can sort of like widen my perspective. And that's something now that I'm thinking about. And I'm like, damn, that's a good point. And maybe I agree with like part of it, or maybe I agree with all of it. But that to me, that an intellectual can take in this information and just like assess what they know, what they thought, what they believed, and the new information. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be this thing where it's like immediately, oh, you're literally Satan because you said something that I disagree with. Yeah. That's not how an intellectual approaches.
That's not articulating a disagreement either.
At all.
And so a big part of like my like trolling people is just because
you're a
like
big troll.
Yeah. Well, it's because you can't articulate a disagreement. So do you even disagree, or is this just like striking something within you that like I don't want to explore this. I don't want to explore a different path of thought. So I'm just going to reject it completely.
It's anti-intellectual.
Yeah, it is. It is. And like period. You know what I mean? And like we're experiencing so much of that.
Yeah.
And that mixed with AI and that AI spreading misinformation and people not being able to tell the difference. And it's like I think that at some point as a society, we need to push for like some sort of federal law where like you have to have a disclaimer that this is AI.
Yeah.
Not even just a watermark, like quite literally like when they was doing the COVID-19 thing, if you said anything about COVID-19, there was disclaimers there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I need that on everything that's AI.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get very difficult for people to tell the difference.
It is, man. But they're intentionally not regulating anything. I mean, partially because all of these companies, all these tech gurus, the CEOs are just like sucking up to the Trump administration. And like they just like suck him off and praise him and worship to get down on their knees.
Yo,
and there's
I've never seen no shit like this.
It's crazy, bro. It's like satirical. You almost don't believe that it's literally idiocracy.
Yeah, like once we're bringing like wrestlers in, it's almost like they looking at that.
H.
Yeah, like it's like they're looking at that movie as a blueprint for something.
Yeah,
in a weird way, or whoever wrote that movie is like foretelling what was to come type shit. Because I literally can't finish that movie. It infuriates me like how dumb shit is.
Yeah, nah, man. It's hard to believe.
It's repulsive.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, like, every time I've tried to watch that movie, I can't watch it in full. It repulses me. I was like, because, like, I really don't want to believe people are this stupid, but then you get online every day and you see that they are. And it's like, okay, when I see it in a text-based app like Threads or X or, Blue Sky, I'm off Blue Sky because it's, like, way too, like, echo chamber towards leftist type people. It's like, there's no point of having these conversations.
Yeah, it's like X is way over here, and then Blue Sky's way over there.
It's like, okay, I'm not just gonna talk to people that's just gonna agree with me because they want to agree with me.
Yeah. So
it's like I like some heavy, like some type of era debate, or at least disagreements. But I think text-based apps I don't really care about because I don't know who's behind them. But people make videos of themselves saying the dumbest shit you ever heard.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm amongst like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
I can't believe like George Bush really like cooked us like this. He said the children weren't going to be left behind. Look at the children. You know what I mean?
It's wild. It kind of makes you, when you like look at where we're at and you kind of pointed out that it's unbelievable when you look at Idiocracy and where we are. And I feel like it like lets you in on this, on like the fragility of what it means to be like an animal that builds a civilization, right? We assume that we've come so far and that we have these safety nets and things are set in stone, but we're not that different from, I don't know, people who were like caught up in mass hysteria over the course of history. Mm-hmm. Like we haven't really come that far. Maybe
it's actually the same. It just feels modern.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
And it's because we're living in it that we modernize it. But it's like, if we were back there, it would feel the same as it does now. Mm. Like, one of the crazier parts of this shit for me is like, it's very disheartening how long it takes to build things and how fast you can destroy them. Like, it's been 8-10 months since he's been off 11 now. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, he's on a fucking tear. Yeah.
The really insidious part to me is that when he gets done and he's out of office, like the fraud and the corruption and how they're like consolidating all of this wealth basically into his family's pockets. There's going to be a lasting impact because of the new like power players that are going to exist, whether or not they try to go for a third term or whatever. Yeah. And these people are young. How old is his son? Like 19? They're talking about him owning TikTok. A 19-year-old.
I really get curious. I have opinions about this, and I have opinions about how things like this should be settled, but I cannot say them publicly. So there's that.
All right. So you do have a filter.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when I don't want people knocking on my door. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, but like, because there is a way to deal with these things. Mm-hmm. But,
well, interestingly, you got, you think about history, how have most revolutions come about throughout history? Really in like one way. That's been most effective. But in the current system, in this modern time, even like old school grab your pitchforks, you can't really do that anymore.
The police are like so conformative. They conform to it. Like they're completely like pawns. You know what I mean? They're not even knights at this point. They're literally pawns. And the way that we see people operate and hate, like in ICE, for example, like who would take that job? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And so, bro, this is, okay, we'll dive into like, I'll give you like a sneak peek into my brain and like how I process information. We're listening to Hills Have Eyes 3 by Westside Gunn. The intro is about how these bandits like stole diamonds from the Louvre, And I was literally like, how much shit in that museum is stolen? And then I started thinking about white people. And then I was like, yeah, white people are ill because they will make laws about theft and then they will show off their theft in museums. Just like, oh yeah, look at this priceless artifact. We took that from somebody.
Yeah.
View it. If you but will say this is a national crisis because somebody came in and stole something from them.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. And then you get shit like that where it's like and now Barron Trump owns TikTok. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man, it's bizarre and it's crazy and it's hard to predict. Like, what is the future really going to be like?
At this point, it's like, so if there is no third term, if there is a third term, why would we stand for that, right? Like, it's actually to the point now, like with them cutting SNAP benefits, and the reason why the government is shut down is because they like the Democrats are putting a hold on it because they don't want people to have their healthcare stripped. These things, these basic human necessities, food, like shelter, healthcare, at this point, like in modern society, healthcare is a need, and like should be given to everybody. To me, like just like education. Everything shouldn't be privatized, but I think that if we look at it from the perspective of like our basic needs constantly being stripped away, not even rights, just needs to live, we should be fed up with it now.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would like to like intellectualize and theorize what's going on and not physically act on it out of fear of what they're going to lose. Because if all minorities in this country just period went on a general strike, everything in this country would tank. Because because the face of a lot of things may be white. And the people who represent a lot of industries may be white. But all of the people who work those industries are black people and people of color. And imagine being able, you can't go to the airport if people of color go on strike. Yeah. Because all of TSA is people of color. And all of TSA is black. And you can't eat at a restaurant if all black and people of color, because most of the waiters and back of house are black and people of color. And it's like, we don't understand how much power we have and how much we hold and prop up this society, that it's like, it's a fear of what we lose and not a fear of what we gain. Yeah. They don't have any fear about what they're going to lose because they keep us fighting each other. So like their systems are intact and, you know, they pretty much control that market day in and day out. And I think that the biggest thing for me is like, okay, there's no third term. What is this? Who inherits this shit? Like, who wants to be the president of this shit? You know what I mean? Because it's literally like you would need a Barack Obama, charismatic, like enthusiastic as candidate to like be like, yeah, we're gonna turn this shit around after they just shit the bed for 4 years. And also like think about the people who he has in like some of the highest positions in our government who aren't experts of any fucking thing. Like, why is Kash Patel even, what is he doing?
Of nothing, man. Yeah. Of nothing. And man, you know what pissed me off when the recent the scandal with the gambling, the NBA and the gambling stuff, was that we know right now on a day-to-day basis the Trump administration is enacting the worst fraud that the country has ever seen. I mean, bro, like he's making crypto coins and rug pulling people in real time. Every time the market tanks, you find out that people are putting like putting like $50, $100 million shorts. Yeah. And then it tanks a few hours later.
There is something that I do like about scamming, but it's just not like, you know what I'm saying? Like there is like a part of me is just like, I respect that. Like I respect the scam. Yeah. Because if you can like convince people, like, cause it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like why would you buy a Trump coin? Why? What the fuck does he know about crypto? He's 70 something. You know what I mean? He's clearly in cognitive decline. And you trust him to know like the ins and outs of this new technology that hasn't even been around 10 years? Yeah. Whatever. All right. If you want to trust that, you should get scammed. But also it's like, this is also our fucking president. And he's like consolidating and like transferring wealth at a rapid rate. And he's kind of like moving in on Venezuela by giving Argentina so much money. He's cutting the legs out from under farmers by like transferring our soybean and beef import to Argentina. And then, not to mention the type, like can we even like imagine how much wealth we've transferred to Israel, like that's like directly being taken out of Americans' mouth, but like literally providing for their lifestyle. And it's like, how aren't you upset about this?
Yeah.
But it's at the same time, as a black person, it's just like, this is America, bro. It's what it's always been for me. So it's been like, it's not been any better in generations past. So this is kind of like light work compared to the people that come from before us.
Yeah.
And we're still like excelling and creating new opportunities in space for ourselves. Whereas like 1950, there is no like imagination for a black person to be an astrophysicist.
Yeah.
But here you are. You know
yeah, man, I think about that a lot. You know, it's easy to get bogged down in the current state, but at the same time, yeah, you know, if we go back to the 60s or the 70s, I don't even think a black person could go to UCLA. So it's like,
and if they did, I imagine the
Yeah.
amount of scrutiny they would be under.
And even to take another step back, how many places right now in the world can you, after like a failed athletic career, start from the beginning, go to public school, community college, undergrad, grad school, and do what I did and become an astrophysicist? I don't know how many places. I mean, a lot of my colleagues are international. People come to America to be able to come to our schools.
Correct.
So in a way, I like feel grateful. Of course, I know that those privileges are coming off the backs of the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
Which is also it's like this burden of knowing things.
I was just like, you literally like stole the words out of my mouth. It's like the wanting to know means that you know, like a little too fucking much. Sometimes it's like, so like I have to find a balance between like being grateful, but also understanding that there's a privilege to this, and also understanding how fucked up things are. So it's like this constant like, and it's like, okay, it was like, I do what I can control. You know what I mean? Like, I utilize my platform to continue to like provide information or bring awareness to certain things, but I'm also going to use it to speak to you because there is a future for our children. Yeah. And they need to see themselves in astrophysics. And they need to see themselves at the highest level. Like, you have a PhD in this shit. That ain't nothing to sneeze at, bro. That's like a grand accomplishment, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, especially for me, I like completely gave up on school, period. Like, I was just like, but I didn't have anything to spark curiosity anywhere else. So it's like, it was either going to be creative or blue collar. Like, that was my whole jam. Yeah. So, the state of the country it's disheartening. And it's like, it's oddly like, it doesn't feel real in some ways.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel real, but the impacts of it are very real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, that's why we do as much as we can as far as like raising money, mutual aid. Like, we just had the coat drive last night. We was raising money for people who are going to experience food insecurity. I'm always going to share resources for people who like don't have those benefits and things like that. And I'm grateful that it's not the thing that's going to like cut the legs out from underneath me. But like, if I have a platform, I need to be utilizing it to make sure that people know where these resources are. Yeah. And like put our own bread up. You know what I'm saying? I put money up for donations and things like that all the time.
Do you feel like that is your like purpose or what meaning that you find in life?
I think that I think it's purposeful. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's my purpose. I think.
Do you have anything that you think of in that way? I think
when I was at the school talking to those kids that like the at-risk youth and the kids that are in the same position as me, and how much of an impact I had in that room, that feels like my shit. Like, that feels like my purpose because I'm using my life experience to stop them from ever going down the path I went through, and being very intentional about them understanding like. One of the things I made them say out loud is like, I give myself permission to make mistakes. And I was like, but they're only mistakes if you're on a new endeavor. You know everything you need to know about the streets. So don't try to say like, oh, I went and robbed this nigga and it went wrong, or I was selling drugs and I went to jail and that's a mistake. Those are decisions because this is a world you know. Yeah. You can't make mistakes in a world you know. You know the consequences. But going in a different path and not knowing and making mistakes, you need to give yourself permission to do this. And it like really just opened their world up. Like the principal was like, bro, he was like, it's kids in here that never pay attention to our speakers. They actually don't care. They would rather be somewhere else or they go to sleep. Those are the most engaged kids that were here today. So like, and I can't reach them, but you can. Yeah. And that just felt like, because I'm actually giving them a 15 to 17 year head start on me. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing. It's like at 17, 18, you have information that you can enact on at 18 years old. You can go get in trades at 18. You can literally change your life in the course of 4 years, financially and like trajectory. that I didn't have access to or information about. And a lot of times, like, the older people just say, oh, you just go get a trade. Well, like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, what is a skilled trade? I didn't know what the fuck an HVAC technician was. I didn't know welding or, like, that electricians were tradesmen and any of this shit. Like, being a plumber, it just seemed like, you know, they shit on jobs like that all the time. Like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
Plumbers crack. Like, that's like propaganda. Like, you just gonna be a dirty old man and shit, like a fat, dirty dude. And it's like, these things don't seem appealing or inspiring. But it's like, your physical health is literally up to you. And, like, you don't have to have plumbers crack or, like, things like that. Like, you just be a great in-shape plumber. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, that's not, like... But
it's not a requirement for the job.
It's not a requirement for the job. You know what I'm saying? But it's, like, this thing that, like, this stigma around it
man.
that deviates people away from these, like, very lucrative endeavors and things that you can create, like entrepreneurship and a business for yourself, literally change your life and the lives of your families. And giving these kids that, like, perspective on it from a place where I was, and, like, I'm not just talking to y'all about this. Also, I've actually utilized that to give myself another platform in life. That was all for it. You know what I mean? And that feels more purposeful, like, it's personally to me.
That's deep, man.
I think the idea of being, like, just philanthropy, that's something that I've always, like, even as a kid, it's like, if I get $1 million, I'm going to give it all the way to the homeless people. Like, that was, like, who I was as a kid. So, like, one of my biggest goals is to be able to, like, go to old, like, rundown motels, renovate them and make them affordable living for people, even, like, free for 90 days or something like that. Something like where that's, like, real, give people a launch pad and, like, a place to start or restart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that part of it has always been, like, a part of the vision for me. But I think getting to young black men before the system gets them, that's all.
Yeah, that definitely resonates with me, and that's powerful. I think about all the potential that is, like, lost, that's wasted. That's not ever reached, and we probably can't quantify it. Earlier, you were talking about you know, how they keep people that are marginalized always bickering, always fighting with each other, and when you think about like some of the civil rights leaders in the 60s, 70s, like Fred Hampton, what like a 21-year-old kid that's bringing together, like, blue collar white men, black, Latino, like something that we're missing now because because he died then.
Yeah.
And there's a whole generation of black leaders that were wiped away, that did not, and, you know, were not able to carry out their purpose and have the impact. And so, you know, in a lot of ways, I think it's not so mysterious how we got where we are today. And, you know, without those natural, I want to call them like a natural defenses that marginalized communities have. It's kind of like our immune system against the system. And they wiped out those defenses, wiped out those thought leaders, but they continue to build up their defenses. You talk about, like, the police units, whatever. This is like the immune system for the system at large. And it has grown to a point where what they wanted to happen happened.
Yeah. I've been on a crazy, like, epigenetic kick lately.
Yeah, which is insane. Epigenetics is also crazy that you could pass on your
like
experiences.
I wish that there was a recorded like time, like he could record how many times I mentioned epigenetics in, like, the last, like, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
it's been actually insane because I think about this shit all the time, because I think about the fact that they kill the fearless, and the fearless often don't reproduce because their work is fearlessness, and it's like they obviously don't have families. So, like, how all the fucking fearful people are reproducing and creating, like, more fearful people or more people that are conforming. And while, like you said, they're creating a system of people who keep the rules intact, like, this shit is, like, kind of encoded in people. So, like, we talked about, like, cooning for survival, right? Like, it would make sense to be a coon if you're under the thumb of slavery, because it's like, it's keeping you alive.
Yeah, it's an adaptive trait.
It's an adaptive trait, but you also are reproducing. So, like, how many niggas is cooning now that was, like, cooning 200 years ago?
They got the cooning gene. We haven't found it yet.
Yeah,
geneticists haven't found it yet, but we suspect, like, there's a cooning gene.
Somebody on Threads said this was the funniest shit I've seen in the last month, and he was like, We are in a coondemic. Coondemic is the funniest shit.
Let me
in
ask
the
you
world.
this: if you found out that we're just like speculating that there was a genetic trait that makes you more likely to like just give in and like submit and to coon, and would that change the way that you saw people that did that? If you knew it was genetic and it was against
I feel like I know it now. it doesn't. So it doesn't necessarily change the way I view them. It actually kind of like changes the way that I feel like they should view themselves. You need to be very aware of the decisions and actions you're making, and like you can change this. Like you don't have to do this.
Right. It's like
Also,
an alcoholic that stays away from liquor. You got so if you're a coon, you like got to stay away from.
You gotta actually like start viewing white people as they are and not as you want them to be or how you like. You don't want like this idea of like being special. It's like stop. You're not. They'll use you, but it's also like this thing of like I wish it was like I wish I could get like a recording of like what they say about them when they're not in the room. Just shatter their whole reality. But it's like it's not possible. So it's like, yeah, bro, you just like you a 5th generation coon, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But it's like hopefully we can keep the revolutionaries alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So there's a thing now. It's like Justin. What's your boy name? Cool. Fast talker. The homie Justin Scott. So he talked about how like it's actually the safest time to be of revolutionary thought because they won't kill revolutionaries because they don't want to create martyrs. And like especially somebody like me is so super visible. If I was to end up dead, it's just like would amplify my work tenfold. Yeah, because I'm so visible online. So I think about shit like that. Like I just think that people that have like different perspectives, I want them around me. I want them like in my phone. I want to be able to call them and just be like, "What's up?" Also, like, just like I think it would be interesting for you to even come talk to those kids because like they don't know anything about astrophysics, bro. Yeah, I'm telling you they don't because it's hard enough for them to be in a space where they have to conform to like a rigid schedule. So like the way that I was kind of telling them like, the schedule that y'all are on is the same schedule they're going to have you on in prison. And the fact that you're in the bottom 10% education-wise in this county means that they already have slated you to go to prison. Yeah. And we're here to change that reality. Like, I literally don't want any of y'all to go to prison. Mm-hmm. And y'all can, like, literally change the outcome of, like, so many different people because they already counting you. Yeah. They already got a suit waiting on you. Yeah. It's like, don't ever get in that suit. Yeah. And then, like, you've overcome a whole generations of work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think that your curiosity got sparked by something, and they just need something to spark their curiosity, something outside of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And also not somebody that's coming and just like, you know what I mean? Just wagging their finger. Like, I don't wag my finger. I'll talk to these kids, and I'll listen to them, too. Mm-hmm. I don't think they feel hurt a lot of times. Oh, yeah, definitely. Man, I do a lot of talks to kids. It's one of my favorite things to do. And, kids, I find that up until, it kind of changes around high school, but like when you're below that age, it still seems exciting and cool to be excited about interesting information that you hear. But then high school hits and it's like it doesn't seem that cool maybe to be showing too much passion or excitement about a given thing. So I love talking to kids. Man, what you was just saying, it made me think. So one way that I like to think about things to simplify them as systems. It's called systems thinking. And in physics, for example, I may, instead of like worrying about every single molecule on the Earth, I'll just think of the Earth as a spherical system and just like average over it, its mass or something. Mm-hmm. But forget about the minutia. Yeah. And that's, I think, an easier way to think about outcomes for people as well. You talk about a system of kids that are in the education system where maybe the education is not the best, and like this industrial prison system that's for profit that needs bodies in there. You have this entire system that is actually reliant upon somehow funneling enough people to fill those beds, fill those rooms. Mm-hmm. And in that system, going in and talking to kids, trying to inspire them, this is like, it's upsetting that system, but it's doing it in the most difficult way. Like you have to expend a lot of energy.
you do. And then the kids actually have to expend a lot of energy to not be funneled down the sort of like water flows at the the least integer from high to low.
So this is funny enough. I know that. So I was like, everybody, all of y'all can feel inspired when you leave here, and that doesn't change anything. Yeah. Because you get around your friends, and now you care about their social pressure, and who's that's what the first thing I asked them is like, what is your idea of power? You know what I mean? Like, who do you deem as powerful? I know when I was a kid, I deemed powerful the person who cared the least about consequences, right? So the ability to enact violence and to not care about the consequences of the violence, that's power to me. And that leads into somebody that will kill you. You know what I mean? And like, for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason. I mean, if you in the drug game, killing is an attribute. You know what I mean? Because that's just the environment of things, right? And so I talked to them a lot about the power of authority over yourself, and viewing and instead of looking at power as like an external thing, viewing it as an internal thing, which means that this thing that you learned from me today, you'll be willing to say no to somebody that wants to deviate you from that path, regardless of what their criticism of you is. And like I try to jump way ahead of it, but I know that the more I go, the more I can expound on that, the more I can kind of drill it into their head, and the more they'll be willing to have like courage to be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and I'm gonna focus on this, and y'all do whatever y'all want to do over there. And I like kind of literally made a testament to the fact that like, it wasn't until I was able to tell my friends no that my life changed. When I cared more about what they thought about me than I thought about myself, I was always in fucking trouble. Yeah. Even in situations where I knew I shouldn't be in, the pressure of like being criticized or like ostracized made me kind of just be like, all right, fuck it. You know what I mean? And I was just like trying to get ahead of it. Like, and of course, like, I don't know what the success rate of me talking to these kids are. It's only been like a handful of times, and this was literally my first time directly just talking to a group of kids. But I would hope it'd be better than 1%. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. And I really think that that's one of the biggest struggles that we all face, even just as humans. Humans are social creatures, and it's that we all feel this pull to the group, which I think is evolutionary. Go back 100,000 years. If you were out in your village, you can't survive by yourself, right? It's over with. So there's a reason that we have this very strong pull. In today's day and age, it could be maladaptive, right? If you got people pulling you in the wrong direction, but you really care about the way that they see you and view you. And so one of the struggles that we have is to like listen to our own voice and do like what we know is right. And that can be like so hard to do. I feel like there should be a course on this in high school that teaches kids about our adaptation to going with the group. Yeah. But in a modern society, how it could be beneficial to break away from the group. Yeah. Which probably hasn't existed in like current human history. Like there probably hasn't been much benefit to breaking away from the group. But I think that there's also like this idea of like, we live in a modern society where you literally can break away from this group and go and find a group that's more aligned with your thinking and being extremely successful. Especially online. You can find that. You can find that community online, that you resonate exactly.
with.
Exactly. But I think that the difficulty is how do I make that a physical thing for me? Because the physical interaction between us is like what strengthens our bonds, which is why like eating together is like such a bond strengthener. Yeah. But I can't eat with the niggas I'm online with. Like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Which is why, like, when we do our events, we make sure we provide food. Because I just know, like, psychologically, it's like we're eating together. You know what I mean? It's like a bonding thing. That's powerful, man. I think that's probably something that extends back, like, millions of years. Absolutely. There's entire societies that are based around food. Like, outside of America, of course. Like, the Italian society is, like, literally everything is about food. Yeah. There's a lot of African cultures where everything stops so people can eat and like eat together. You know what I mean? It is very psychological. Yeah. And we're like deprived of it. Yeah, I think that it's purposeful though, right? Like a 20-minute lunch break, a 30-minute lunch break, Yeah. It's not enough time to eat and converse. I think the part of the part of breaking bread is the conversation. Yeah. Right? But if I'm scarfing food down so I can get back on the clock. Yeah. Well, so this is also like really the influence of capitalism, right? Like you think about something like DoorDash. This is what I feel about conspiracies. Like it feels like you say it's intentional. Well, really what's happening is
people just want to make money, right? The app want to make money, restaurants want to make money, so we'll bring the food to your house. You don't have to go anywhere, but you lose this something that is integral to being human, which is like consuming what you need to make it to live tomorrow.
Yeah.
This energy that used to be like a very community based thing, but because of this app that's making money,
well, it shouldn't exist either, because it's like, can you imagine what we've done to ourselves in a form of like Thanksgiving? You know what I mean? Like our breaking bread with one another has been like diminished so that we could pay $15 more for cold food.
What do you mean?
Like, by the time the Wendy's gets to your house, okay, you go to Wendy's, you go get this, it might cost $12.
Yeah.
By the time you get off DoorDash, it's $25, and it arrives, and it's not quality, it's not high quality, it's not hot. You know what I mean? And it's like, so you're getting fucked twice. I paid more for this shit food, and now it's cold. And it's like, you can't reheat fast food, bro. It's just,
the bread is soggy.
once it get cold, it's over. But it's like, but this is like cost, whatever. I don't know the fucking correct term for this. But it's like this thing of like, well, fuck, I already paid for it, so I got to eat it.
Yeah.
It sucks, bro. And it's like, it's also like completely isolating people from social interaction. Human interaction. Also, like, leave it at the door. Don't even fucking hand it to me. Just leave it outside. Like I'm a fucking animal, bro. Just like drop my food off at my front door.
Yeah, man. I have this.
It's weird.
This theory that the type of whatever intelligence that we have, that it's like maladaptive, and we start to.
Can you explain what you mean when you say that? Maladaptive?
Yeah. That so you think like in nature, you look at various animals, the traits that they have are very adaptive for them. They help them survive, thrive, whatever. The cheetah, it's adaptive for the cheetah to be fast as hell if it's having to chase gazelles in the wild.
Correct.
Right? If we took all the cheetahs and put them in zoos, now needing to run around fast every day is maladaptive because that's not what it's doing.
And there's quite literally no space for you to perform that.
Right. And what do you see when you see a lot of these wild animals in the zoos? They like pace back and forth. They literally cannot function properly because they don't exist in the environments that they evolved for.
Right.
So they're
and they have all of these instincts that they can't act on.
Right. And it's like every day. So for the cheetah, it may literally just make it happy to sprint full speed. It can't do that in a zoo. It doesn't need to. But like biologically, it still does need to.
Yeah. And which is why all them motherfuckers animals look so fucking depressed.
They like sway.
I hate going to the zoo.
Yeah, man.
There's a zoo that I went to. You can get back to your point after this. My bad. It's like
go ahead.
Niggas start branching off.
Go ahead, bro. I got ADHD. This is how it goes.
Oh yeah, bet. Same. There's this zoo I went to when I vowed to never go to a zoo again because there was a path created by this panda of like literally a circle around, like he had literally beaten a path into this enclosure.
Yeah,
and
it literally
like,
malfunctioning.
It was like I was like, bro, this is like this fucking animal's losing its mind.
Yeah,
it's just walking around in circles all day. And it's like, this shit just depressed the fuck out of me. I was like, I never want to be here again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you think about this thing that is very obvious to see in animals when they're in enclosures. Even though they're safe, they have all the food they need, they don't have to worry about predators. They literally have access to vets, which does not exist in the wild, but they can't thrive.
Yeah, and they don't need vets in the wild. It's like
exactly. And so when I say that the intelligence that we have is maladaptive, we have created this society that is so foreign for what we evolved to be in that it's unhelpful.
It's destroying us. Like,
right?
So like this idea of like the suicide rates going up and like, we need to talk about mental health. It's like, okay, we need to talk about the fucking society then.
It's the whole system.
Like it's the system. It's not, there's not one thing. It's like we can't express ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't make our own food. That's like never been a human thing.
It's never been a thing on Earth before.
It's never been a thing on Earth. It's like we eat what we kill, right? And then you also like zone things where it's illegal to grow your own food. So you don't even get the fulfillment of like producing anything for yourself. And then as we like, you know, you think about like creating a market around something that's a natural resource, right? So if I could just have cows, have chickens, have and the slaughter of one cow can feed my family for 3 months.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? The chickens will lay eggs every day. Like I literally don't have to worry about food, but there's a pride that you take in like not having to like depend on anybody else, right? It's a vision like also like there's no market for that slaughter either, right? It's like the cow was born naturally. I kill it, it feeds us. It's like there's no dollar attached to that.
Yeah.
And attaching a dollar to like the thing that we need to survive also makes us very selfish about who we share it with. So it makes us cagey. Like, nigga, this steak was $15. You know you can't have a bite. Yeah. Whereas like if we slaughter it, everybody can come over. Niggas like, oh, we got other cows. You know what I'm saying? Like there's other pigs. Like, hell yeah, like we can't eat all this shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how people treat deers and shit. Like, let's have a feast. But there ain't no feasting if I had to pay for this shit. Yeah. What's the first thing we don't think about? Can you shit? You trying to go in on this shit? Like, if you want to come to dinner tonight, can you bring like $20? You know what I'm saying? To replace what I put in. It creates us like, it makes us like very cagey because it's like
it's an unnatural environment and an unnatural system.
Of course, like we're depressed. Of course, like every girl you meet is on fucking Wellbutrin, nigga. Like, yeah, she fine as shit, but she ain't got it all because we're not living in a natural society. Like, this isn't who we have adapted to be. And like, we live in the idea of like insane white billionaires and what's best for them. And it's like treating us as subjects more than anything else. So if you can even think outside of this system as we do, it actually kind of creates like a double consciousness for us too. We're like very depressed to understand that this isn't how we should be living, but also very like prideful in the fact that we've outthought the circumstances and still had success. And like, yeah, bro, like I always knew I was going to think my way out of this shit, but it also like I'm not, because I'm still like faced with like hyper consumption. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like things that I need trinkets. I need things to make myself happy because this shit is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a survivor's guilt that comes along with it too. Yeah. Because like we literally shouldn't be living like this, but it's like, how do you uproot an entire system without killing hundreds of thousands of people?
Yeah, it's it almost feels unrealistic to expect that most people will be able to outthink that just because of the system the way that it is, which is really unfortunate. And it is. It's like when you start getting far down the line to the point where AI is tracking everything, they got your face on everything, they know exactly what you you know, I remember what blew my mind a few years ago was to find out that on Facebook had built these profiles on people, basically, you know, like 10 years ago, whenever Facebook was really popping, that just by like where you hover your mouse or what you like or what you click on, they know your age, your race, your interests. They're able to like build this profile from you just from your behavior, which is like now how you get targeted ads.
Yeah, it's like robot sociology, bro. It's weird. Yeah. It's like, because it's not, it doesn't account for like the humanity of people either, but also,
yeah, it doesn't. You're literally a unit of data that they're trying to harvest.
That's what I'm saying. It's like harvest. That's what I'm saying. We're subjects to this thing. And so there is like a thing where I believe the powers that be know that there's going to be people in this society that have like certain traits and instincts that are in their genetic code where they're going to exist outside of this system we built. But we also understand enough data about what like the roadblocks we put up that people are going to be susceptible to this society too. Yeah. And keeping it running for us. And it's also a point of education not being good at all and just very basic, because we're gonna like weed out people with these subjects, like these basic subjects. There is no like astrophysics in high school, but there is science, and the type of science we teach you is just like, how much of this can you take? You know what I mean? How much of this history can you listen to? How much is math can you deal with until you get out? And then it's like literally doesn't teach you anything about being a person.
When you think about that, you know, when you look at every aspect of society over the last 100 years, it's changed greatly, except if you ever seen that picture of a classroom for 100 years ago, it basically looks the same. You just got a bunch of seats kind of like organized in rows and columns, and there's a chalkboard up front. And it hasn't changed at all, right? Because this is the education system that was supposed to put people basically in factories. These little time chunked blocks throughout your day, then you get your little lunch, and then you go back and you finish these little blocks.
So there's three sectors of society that I've narrowed that down to, like the classroom, the jail, and the warehouse. They all live off of bell systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very discrete like time. You do this, you do
So
this,
fucking
you do
weird.
this, and then
And for whatever reason, it's always like 90-minute chunks.
yeah.
90 minutes, you get 15.
But you-
90 minutes, you get 30. 90 minutes, you get 15. 90
Yeah.
minutes, you're done. And it's like, but with jail, it's like, the only difference in jail is you just can't leave. You can leave school, but you're already programmed.
But you can see how that, at the very least, is acceptable if the job that you were getting was going, like, you were set. Like, you could have enough money to, like, raise a family, to get a house, whatever, which is how it used to be, like, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever. But now it's not like that.
No, so you just get people. I think that they phase out opportunity per generation to keep generations split. So my father's father would be like, all you gotta do is get a job and go to school, and it's like, well, it's not like that. But you can't tell a nigga who it was like that for that it's not like that.
Yeah.
They think you lazy, and it's just like you just rinse and repeat that cycle. So it becomes a little tougher on. So if my grandfather gets a job, takes care of his family, and he has a house, he has a wife, he has kids, he has 2 cars, he has insurance. Like, basically all his needs are met, and then he still can afford some of his wants.
Yeah.
He tell your son that that's all you got to do, but by the time your son inherits that same system, he can barely cover his needs. And he's telling his dad, like, this system isn't working anymore. But also there's a need to prove to your father that, like, you're adequate. So you like, okay, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to work more hours, and I'm going to work. Okay, he worked 40 hours a week. I'm going to work 60 hours a week. And then, like, you do get some, like, progress in that, but you suffer from the time that you're spending trying to prove something to this man who was given everything in the system. By the time it gets down to me, I can observe it from perspective, like, without engaging. Like, that shit doesn't work. I'm going to try something else. And then we get the rebellious grandson. And then probably by the time my kids or grandkids come up, they'll have reinstated a system that is very beneficial. They just keep it going. They just keep it going. Like, that's literally how I view things. It's like everything is about systems of control, and like just slowly, like, okay, you can't afford 2 cars. Now you can't afford 3 bedrooms, but you can afford 2 and 1.
It's slight. Yeah.
Because the people that control the systems have all the wealth in the world. So it's like they literally lose nothing from taking anything away from us. And this is like, I'm just saying it plainly. We are not willing to kill these niggas. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say, like, I hate to, like, be. It feels like so, like, cynical and shit like that, and also, like, maybe, like, such a hard left turn. But the thing is like, the people who are controlling you and, like, making your life miserable are willing to kill you to keep that system that benefits them, and you are not willing to kill them, and they're gonna win every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I come into a gunfight with my fist, it's like, well, guess what? This is how this shit gonna go. Yeah. All right?
Yeah, man.
If you don't agree, I'll just put a fucking bullet in your head, and that's the end of our disagreement.
And and if you look at successful revolutions throughout history over the past couple thousand years, always it was like you could get a group of people when technology isn't so advanced, and you can literally storm, you can overpower.
Because of surveillance purely. And they know that. You know, you understand, like the same way we can recognize, like, how revolutions have started and how they are won. They're won through violence. If you can almost, like, predict a violent tendency in somebody, like, this is probably gonna get me put on a fucking list somewhere. They could be like, yep, watch out for that nigga because he gets it. Yeah, we'll find a way to block it or whatever the fuck.
Something that I've been thinking about recently is these the LLMs that people use, the large language models like ChatGPT and Claude. There's a room of people that basically turns the knobs on how they respond. So it can make it be a sycophant to you and just agree with everything you say. It could be more disagreeable, right? But there's a group of people turning those knobs, and human behavior is so easy to influence that you could imagine that, Sam Altman or whoever is making those decisions is intentionally using, like, employing this thing, ChatGPT, which I think has almost 1 billion users in the world, or several hundred million, to guide their behavior And you would never know. You would never know that that was happening.
Yeah.
And when I first had this thought was a few months ago. Elon, you know, on X, everybody cries when Grok gives a woke answer, like it's stating facts about how like black people aren't animal monkeys or some shit like that. And they'll be like, "Oh, when are you gonna fix this so it's not so woke?" And then Elon Musk, he tweets, "Okay, we fixed Grok." And then like 15 minutes later, it's calling itself Hitler. It's calling itself Mecha Hitler. So clearly what happened was they sloppily just turned some knobs and was like, okay, maybe, I don't know exactly what they told it, maybe like be a little bit more right-leaning or whatever. And that's a knob that they turned. And if they hadn't been so sloppy with it and incompetent, maybe you wouldn't have known. Like, what if it just wasn't overtly calling itself Hitler, right? And then what's the impact of that? Everybody is interacting with this. Like I said, hundreds of millions of people use this every single day. And like, what are the knobs that they're turning? There's no, it's like you said, they know the way that people, I mean, that's the most valuable data set that's ever existed. People's chats with GPT, it's kids that don't even make decisions. They refer to Chat GPT to make a decision, to have a text conversation.
Yeah.
To
also to like feel within community.
Yes, it acts like a friend. It's not it's not a real thing. It's a series of like numbers.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you what this is, and like to your point, it's like, hey Grok, and it gives you facts, and it's like, that's woke.
Yeah.
No, nigga, that's a fact. That is an objective truth, and you're like, this is too woke for me. That's scary.
Yeah.
Because what type of world do you want to live in where like everything is comforting to your delusions? Like when you're presented with facts, it's like, this can't be real. But you have a leader and the person that you like literally falling behind that will call like a fact fake. Like this is fake news. And like to the point where it's like you hear those two words and you just associate it with that man.
Yeah.
And the thing that I don't fear really anything. I just like the unknown of like where this is headed is the thing that I fear, I think, the most.
Yeah. I
don't really have fear for like how this like at some point I have to worry about my own children and just make sure that they're productive to society and they're not falling. Like I kind of like get on my son about like watching streamers and shit like that. It's like, it's weird, bro. It's like zoo shit. Like, it's just, like
you sound like an old man, I bet, when you say that.
Yeah, bro. Like I probably sound cooked as fuck, but it was like I just kind of tell him like you were just kind of participating in a human zoo activity. Yeah, you're just watching another person live.
It is strange.
It's human zoo shit, bro. It's like strange. You watching another person live, but they're also living within the confines of what this camera can reach. It's odd. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I was talking to those kids at the school the other day, and I asked them like how they felt about streamers, all of them was like, "Them niggas weird." And I was like, my type of kids. You know what I'm saying? These are my type of kids right here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They may be at risk to the system, but these niggas understand life because that shit is weird. Why am I watching you live your life from my home? It's like to me, it's like a house of mirrors. You know what I mean? Because it's like, who else is watching? Like, kid camera, film his life, goes out to like 100,000 other people watching him in a centralized device while another camera is watching them. It doesn't fucking end. That's why I'm gonna stop, because then I'm telling you, like, this is where my brain just goes to the point where I just hate it. You know what I mean? Like, it like information makes me like quite literally just hate shit. Like, I fucking hate that. You know what I mean? But I think that I can't stop exploring the possibilities of what something may be. Yeah. To the point where it's just like, this is my informed decision on it. It's not good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, because, you know, and this is also influencing all of the kids that watch that all the time.
Exactly.
And what is it influencing them to do, think, feel? Like, what type of adult does that create in 20, 30 years? I don't know.
Because we've never seen it before. So it's also
unprecedented.
Yeah. And I think it's also like fear of, because you don't want your kids to be dumb. You know what I mean? Because like, I think that we all kind of like feel within our right to say, well, like we're reasonably intelligent. And I don't remember how I arrived at this. I know I went to the same school and learned the same shit as y'all, but I just wasn't thinking about it the same way. And I would hope like on a pure human level that we're all operating like that. But then I've never seen brain rot at this level. But I don't remember what our brain rot was like. It was like canon. Like, you remember that? Like, we was all doing that? Canon. Like, that was our 6-7. So I feel like these things are just like the canon, like was just doing this shit to each other, and so I feel like as kids, like we're all gonna have our own experience with like brain rot. I think that it's hyper like. It's just hyper visible now. You know what I mean? Because we all got phones. So now we seeing niggas across the world doing the same shit as us, and it's like, yeah, of course it looks a little sick, but it's also like, I don't think that we're as like complicated as we like to think we are.
Oh no. And I mean, something like TikTok, like the scroll feature, this is just hijacking whatever simple psychology that it is that we all have, and that's like why it works, right? That's why everything is short form, because it's exploiting something inherent about our brains, because our brains did not evolve to be like, actually this is bullshit. You have to train yourself. You have to think hard about it to arrive at this isn't right. This, this is new. So I'm not necessarily just being an old man, but there's something wrong here that's anti-human that's happening. But if you don't think about it, I think where your brain naturally slides is into that. And we see it more and more.
Yeah. What's so scary about TikTok is like, it's like the scroll feature that you're talking about. They've created a gadget on the TikTok shop where like you don't even have to touch your phone to scroll now.
I saw that.
You just like put it on your finger and you could just scroll it.
The TikTok shops be pissing me off, bro.
Yo, that shit is... I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, mad shit is evil, bro. Like, mad shit is just evil as fuck. Because it's like, how much fucking simpler... Okay, so at what point does it become like where it's just you think about scrolling and it scrolls? Like, how far away are we from that? I think about that because if I had to scroll my phone physically, where like I got like an iPhone pinky, where it's like my phone is rested on my goddamn hand so much. Yeah, that's what they call it. Like I think that's what they call it.
Yeah,
but
that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's just like where your shit just resting on your shit so long that it's just done like weighed my shit down. I got like Chris Carter hands and shit. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen Chris Carter's hands from like trying to catch shit? That nigga thumb goes it goes like 12:30 on this shit. So I'm like, okay, just scrolling the phone is doom scrolling within itself. Now you got it where I can lay comfortably as I want and then just have this device that'll scroll while I don't touch
crazy.
My phone. That's crazy as fuck.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But it's also like there is no way to retain all that information.
Oh no.
Not consciously.
It's not possible.
Right? Yeah, so then it's like, yeah, bro, that is what brain rot is. You're just like literally just cooking yourself all day just with loads of like unusable information, like, or just like people's lives and shit like that. It just, Yeah, and the social aspect of the like group thing is still at play. So people are watching videos of other people that have lives that they don't relate to and experiences they don't relate to, and they're like absorbing this too, and that may influence the way you think. One of the first videos I ever saw from you, it was a short form video. You was talking about you had an episode where you was talking about the red pill like pipeline, and like why is it that so many young men are vulnerable and susceptible to falling into that, right? I mean, they're like watching these videos of what other guys are saying that are probably experiences that they've never had, but it just becomes a part of the zeitgeist and a part of the cultural truth. And you end up in this place where a bunch of young men think that like all women are gold diggers. They don't want to date nobody that doesn't have a lot of money, for example. And you said something that which I appreciate. It was just like a different perspective. If this is true, why do we all grow up poor? How did that happen? Like that can't be the case, right? So there's this reality that we have all, or that young people have all assumed that it's true, that the opposite gender is evil and they're messed up and all of these things. But that isn't reality at all. You're being sucked into this way of thinking. It's also like an odd thing where a man with kids that doesn't have money is telling you this. What gold digger are you talking about, nigga? You have no money. Yeah. And you still have kids. So obviously, that just contradicts everything you say you stand for. Mm-hmm. But also, like, the amount
of... are so weird, man.
Well, I think about this, too. And I talk to my kids about this. My son, he spends a lot of time in those, like, tech spaces. He's really into, like, video games and things like that. And wants to be an engineer, wants to be an architect. And naturally, like, that's a very good sign, but it's not a good sign of, like, where those spaces land kids, which is, like, naturally, like, it's going to be red pill shit because he cares about, like, people who care about video games, and the video game community is, like, hateful as fuck, racist as fuck, misogynist, because they spend all day on video games.
You used to get on Xbox? I had Xbox.
Yeah, so he's a fucking PC dude.
Okay.
Too, so like
he's a real gamer.
Yeah, he's a real gamer. So I was like, how do you feel about women? And he was like, well, I've never really had a girlfriend, so I don't really have a lived experience with them. But from what they say online, it's like all women are gold diggers and things like that. And I was like, do you believe that to be true? And he was like, well, I keep hearing it, so it must be true, right? I was like, well, the only thing that you can, like, draw truth from is your experience. So if you don't have any experience with women, and I was like, also at 12 years old, how are you going to meet a gold digger? Nobody has money. And he was like, oh, shit. Like, you could just tell from him, it was like, well, that fucking myth is out the window for me. He doesn't, like, and he hasn't ever mentioned gold digger to me again, because it's like, you got to catch them where they at and like dispel it. My son is like a very reasonable person, which thank God, you know what I mean? Like, he can't be fooled by like misinformation because he cares about the truth. I think that, like, shout out to the fucking tism, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Without that aspect, imagine how many kids are just falling, like, kids that never had a relationship with a girl, but they have all of this information about girls. And it's like, how did you
say? Because they hearing it.
Yeah.
And that's one of our weaknesses, is that the thing that we're presented with, we just start to absorb that.
Also, like, our brain is, like, hardwired to, like, repetitive information. You know what I mean? Which is why, like, I think about this stuff, too. It's like, there's people who are not athletically inclined telling you about Prize Picks. And then there's also athletes telling you about Prize Picks. And then you have Sports Center, which is like basically a 24 news cycle for gambling addicts. And then what are we going to look like in 15 years when, like, all of our youth are addicted to gambling? Yeah. And then who's making the money off of that besides Prize Picks, right? So now we have Prize Picks are going to make all this money. And then we're going to have all of these, like, anti-gambling addiction resorts, rehabs popping up all across the country. And they're going to make money hand over fist, and they're probably going to all be funneled by the same people. Yeah. Probably Prize Picks is going to start opening up rehabs for gambling addicts. Like, it just is what it is.
And package it as them doing good.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh, well, we told you. It's like cigarette. It's like tobacco companies funding cancer research.
Yeah. Nah, it's insidious.
These niggas are sick, bro. I'm actually going to go the other way. After all this righteous shit, I'm just finna get evil on you niggas. I don't know what my evil of choice is yet.
Yeah. Well, somebody who I think sort of shamelessly just capitalizes on all of our vulnerabilities to maximize his profit in whatever evilest way is possible is definitely Donald Trump. Like, he tapped into something.
Oh, man, he got it, bro.
He tapped into to this thing that is
understands
just
poor whites.
That's just fundamentally true.
Yeah, he just understands, like, poor white dumb people. Like, he just does.
It's wild.
He gets that they don't care about anything but themselves. And also, like, think about this as, like, centuries and centuries of, like, inbreeding, drug addiction, famine. You know what I mean? That's all embedded in them too. So, like, there is no, and, like, there has to be at the core. I don't know what the study is on this. It's just a theory of mine. Like, you can't, like, breathe empathy out of you. You have to be able to. At some time.
Think so?
Maybe. I mean, because they don't seem to possess it en masse.
Well, I think that they do for the people that they see as themselves. They do for themselves.
Which is so weird, because then that means that, like, you see white people as, like, a different species of human.
A lot of them do. You remember one of the first, this is interesting. So, being a scientist, knowing that history, science has horribly racist history. One of the first major goals, in my opinion, of modern Western, like, experimental science was to prove, and this was sort of after Darwin comes out with the theory of evolution, was to prove that black people, that Africans were an inferior species.
Yes.
So it was one phrenology.
That whole, like, the
brain skull sizes.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is like one of the first actual goals of science. Now, to this point, all of this has been, debunked. It was all trash.
Yeah, but they will still use it, which is
people still think that, bro. They think that the racist concept is that because white people evolved in Europe, where it was colder and the conditions were harsher, they had to evolve to be smarter to like survive those conditions.
Yeah,
and
but
that's why they dominated everybody. This is the like racist ideology.
Yeah, well, but this is also like an ideology that a lot of people hold, but they don't donate it to like smarter. They donate it to like savagery.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you become a savage because like your life is literally like born out of scarcity. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, of course you're willing to kill anybody to eat because there's not a lot to eat. You like basically a fucking polar bear. And it's like, maybe that's why a polar bear is like apex predator, because they'll eat anything they can catch because there's literally no resource, a food resource where they live. So you grow up with a place of lack of resource, and then you look at how black people act when our history is like fulfilled and like we come from places of abundance. Yeah. So there's no reason to be stingy. There's no reason to steal. There's no reason to withhold or gatekeep. There's no reason not to be kind and like hospitable because we have everything we need, as averse to these people that come with literally nothing. They are like, the whole goal is just to take whatever you can get, and regardless of like how it affects others. You know what I'm saying? But to think that shit makes you smarter, it just makes you like a little fucking less human, depending on like what your
and it's not even. And the wild thing is that's not even at all the reason why white people were able, specifically Europeans, were able to like dominate everywhere. You think most of the places that they went, they brought disease, and you think about why did they have disease? Well, they like lucked up in a place where you could like domesticate pigs and cows. Cows aren't everywhere. The reason that most black people are lactose intolerant because cows were not native to Africa. They had goats, but they didn't have cows. And so genetically, black people oftentimes don't have the ability to deal with milk from cows with that lactose.
Just can't break that shit down.
But But it happened to be in Europe. So they had these enormous farms. They could domesticate all these animals. Nobody knew anything about germs and anything. They were living filthy, disgusting, to the point that they created these super plagues that almost wiped out everybody in Europe. Yeah. But didn't. And then as they go and spread around the world,
like until they got in touch with the Moors and taught them proper hygiene. You know what I mean? Like literally, like showed them how to light their streets and shit like that. I think it was just cool with being in darkness, bro. Like this is a whole like odd history behind Europeans, but that makes a lot of sense how they act the way they act now. That it's like, yeah, to your point, like bringing disease to people. It's like, but
not even knowing it though, like, and just thinking, but you can see from a primitive mindset how you go to a new place, you think you're more advanced than them. Partially it's because you got lucky and had like the right animals happen to be around you that you could domesticate, and you show up to these new places and you call these people savages, and they all are dying from this disease, right? And so this blew my mind. Most of the natives in North and South America actually were wiped out by disease before the true wave of colonialism came. So when they came, they were already dealing with these populations that had been drastically reduced. And from their perspective, of course, they thought that they were so superior. They have no idea about germs. They have no idea about how any of this happened. And it's very disheartening to think that to this day, people think that the way that they were able to like conquer everybody was just because they were so much smarter, when that literally had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Nah, them niggas was bringing real bacteria with them, which means like, in a sense, y'all are a disease. The more you know. Let's just end it there. White people are a disease. That fills me with joy. Yeah. Nah, they're gonna clip that somewhere and be like, yeah, this nigga hates us. Like, all right, whatever. White people like, it's so weird. As much shit as I talk about white people, they never refute my claims. I never see them like.
Do you feel like? Do you think you have white people in your audience?
Oh yeah.
Is it a lot? You think?
Probably.
Yeah.
They reach out. They're like, yeah, man.
What do they reach out and say?
I know I'm not your target audience, man, but I love what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of various races of people, because of how I address our issues within our community, and it's because like I address it with like love and empathy rather than like just finger pointing or whatever. A lot of people have reached out like, this is how I want to approach things in my community, because the same things you're saying, like if you just apply it, like the criticism and the knowing of like what our shortcomings are with like love and empathy and like how we can change them. Yeah, we could all like change our communities drastically, or at least shift some perspectives. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I know that like the predominant part of it is black people, but I know that there are some outliers out there. They fuck with what I do too, and you know, I think that it's just like a white guilt thing too, where it's just like, yeah, I know we are evil. Yeah,
that is an interesting thing to witness. People that have that like respond like that.
Yeah. Before we go, do you have anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, definitely. Which right here?
It's you.
Curiosity Theory podcast. We drop every Tuesday. It's me and my co-host Justin Schaefer. We really just get nerdy. We're science nerds. We get into culture. We get into tech. We talk some like philosophy, some mindset. So Curiosity Theory, it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much everywhere. And then follow me, Dr. Starkid everywhere. I make a lot of science content, talk a lot about space, talk about some like social issues and stuff too, whatever I feel compelled. So Dr. Starkid and then Curiosity Theory podcast. Yo.
What do you think about 3-eye atlas? Have you studied that?
I've seen the evidence. Yeah, it's just a comment.
Just a comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is interesting that it is a comment that clearly came from a different solar system. Like it came from a different star.
Okay.
A long time ago. And it just happened, to now, and that may seem like a coincidence, but if you think about the fact that it's 100 billion different suns in our galaxy, randomly, it would make sense that every once in a while, something from one of those would get shot out of that system, orbit around that star, and come into our solar system. So it's a comment. It's just like, I think they said it's maybe the size of Manhattan, something like that. And then it has like a bunch of ice on it. And so as it gets closer to the sun, a lot of that ice like melts and vaporizes, and then it starts to have this big, huge, bright tail, which we can see right now, and that's what people are saying. But it's not there's nothing about it that tells you that it's like a spaceship or that it's behaving irregularly or anything like that. So just a comment, but there's a ton of misinformation about it out there. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the astrophysics group chat look like? Hold on. What time we at, Ferg?
Hour and 50.
We got 10 minutes. What's the astrophysics group chat look like? Question 1. Question 2, how do you feel about aliens?
So first, well, let me do the aliens one first, because this is very interesting to me. I think that by the numbers, I would say that I feel like I could guarantee that aliens exist somewhere, that there is life elsewhere. How interesting that life is, I don't know. On Earth, you think about the first life that evolved was like single celled, basically a bacteria. And it was bacteria for 3 billion years. Then it got more complex. So, balance of probabilities, most of the life I would say in the universe is probably like single celled. But I do think that in some cases, clearly we see this on Earth. You can have animals that are complex evolved, maybe even like advanced societies and technologies like we have. But I definitely don't believe that they're flying around in our airspace. Like, I don't believe any UFO video that I've seen is evidence for it being an alien from light years away. Mm-hmm. I would believe it if I saw that evidence, though. Show me the evidence, I'll believe anything. As long as I see compelling evidence. So I would say that aliens almost certainly exist. It's also possible that we couldn't even comprehend the potential for what life could be like. Right. Because we're thinking about
we're only going to see it within our own lens.
Right. How could we see it as anything else? Sometimes you see, you ever seen like some of these videos from the deep ocean where they find a new animal down there and you look at it and it looks like an alien. If you saw it in a movie, you would be like, oh, that looks like an alien. But this is on Earth.
Right.
And so it stands to reason that any aliens on another planet would be more different than the most different thing that we see on Earth.
Absolutely.
And so what does that even mean? Can we even imagine that?
My theory around this is like if another life form, an intelligent life form, can travel here through like different solar systems and light years away, we're cooked when they get here because we can't do that.
Oh, they would be
they
far
have
more
like
advanced.
such an advanced technology that we can like. First of all, we can't comprehend the technology, and second of all, like, what do you think you finna do?
Yeah.
What do you think you finna do?
help us.
Like, those are people show like, oh, the aliens show up and they ask you who your leader is. Nigga, they're not asking shit. Okay?
Yeah.
First of all, they know who the leader is, obviously. They would probably be able to like stealthily monitor us in a way.
That's what you would do if you were a smart civilization.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't just break through the
like,
atmosphere.
who's in charge?
Hey, what's
Nah.
happening? Where your boss at? Like, no, bro, that's just some stupid human shit we think about.
Yeah.
Because you're not thinking about the complexity of that travel.
Yeah.
So like I've already like come to terms with like pure probability there has to exist another life form somewhere. But then if they make it here.
Well, so here, let me ask you this. Do you believe that it would be a cordial, like a friendly encounter? Do you think that they would come with ill intent? Do you think it would be maybe something that we can't imagine?
I do think it would. I don't think it would be malevolent just because to have that like level of ability.
You would hope that you've evolved past that sort of thing.
That, and also I think just to have that level of ability of travel like means you have everything you need. Where
Right. What are they going to come take?
So like
from us?
you literally need us for nothing.
Right.
I would think the only thing you could do is come here and advance life here. And also, of course, like the human mind in me is just like you do got a motive. What that motive is, I don't know.
What if it's just curiosity?
Yeah, if it's pure curiosity, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be very shocked when they find out how we deal with our curiosity.
Maybe. Do you think that, I mean, because they could have evolved in a similar way. They could have gone like through similar, like maybe, you know, they showed up to us and we're where they were like 50,000 years
ago. And so they know exactly how to course correct. Yeah. Yeah, because they got to know that like we're going to try to do two things. We're going to try to kill them. We're going to try to fuck them.
I would not be surprised if the first thing that we did was like shoot off. And I mean, think about who's in charge of our military right now.
Yeah. Well, then also you got to think. So I always think about this fact too. It's like the way that like we used to believe that Earth was the center of the universe. That's like how America believes that they're the center of the. Like Americans believe they're the center of Earth.
Oh, for sure,
nigga. It's so many different places. Like if they, I would just hope that they would come across the right government. You know what I mean? That would be like interested in dealing with this in like a diplomatic way instead of just like shooting them out the sky. Yeah. Because
what government would that be? I don't even know which one it would be.
I don't know why, but for some reason the first thing that comes to mind is China.
You think so?
They're just like they seem to be very big problem solvers in their society. It's just like how I view it. You know what I mean? Like they just solve problems. You know, they're very efficient at solving problems for their society. But do you have a differing point of view on that?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea who I would trust with that.
Yeah,
I hope they just come talk to me, bro. I feel like I would handle it right.
No, I think you're the guy. You know what I'm saying? For real. I always like thought about this in the sense of like. I would hope that it was somebody that was reasonable as I am about certain things, like knowing I'm already inferior when you land. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like,
that's a very humble way to approach it. Which I think is obviously true if they came here from somewhere else. If they
come here from another galaxy, my nigga, we're inferior because we can't do that. So I would think that it'd be the good thing is like, you know, like what y'all want. You know what I'm saying? Like keep it real. What you want? And it's like, what can we offer you? You know what I'm saying? You can come with some type of hospitality because it's like, nigga, guns ain't finna do nothing. A gun? Well, they can probably like control the gun with a mind. Turn that bitch on you.
I suspect that if they did their due diligence and observed, we would not cross the threshold that for them to like, okay, check the boxes to actually make first contact. I would not believe that we're at that level yet.
They would probably like survey the Earth to find like
maybe we'll come back in like 2,000 years,
or just like what what sector of this species seems the most friendly?
But if you recognize the humans, then you see that they all are like capable of this wide range of behaviors. And I don't know if we passed.
I would say I would hope they would go. Just like funny answer, just like the funniest thing is like them go to like Jamaica first.
Yeah,
it's like Bumba Club. But like Jamaicans would like probably be like, "Where you want?" Like, what fuck you want? Where you want? like just like purely like let's get straight to it. Like, why are you here?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Fuck you doing in Kingston.
Yeah,
you could be anywhere. You came here, but yeah, I think that it's like it's always been my thing too. This is also too like. This doesn't necessarily have to come in a humanoid form. Right?
Almost certainly wouldn't, right?
Right. I heard a theory that the Greys were drones.
And meaning what? Like they're robots?
Yeah, like the eyes were so big because they were cameras. That was like that's fire. It's a fire theory that because they understood how violent humans were that they sent in drones so they wouldn't like destroy them at all. Like it's like
low grade drones though, right? Because they got here and they crashed. So like they sent their worst.
Maybe couldn't account for the atmosphere or something like that.
But they were in New Mexico where like nothing happens in the atmosphere. It's just flat. It's dry.
Okay, quick question. This is a perspective I haven't heard explored. From a scientific perspective, what is the benefit of like hoaxes in that space? What's the benefit of like creating a hoax around alien life?
When you say the benefit of creating a hoax, you mean for the people who say that this is aliens and like assuming that somebody's lying about it on purpose?
Well, yeah. Like, what is the benefit of like something like the curiosity or the mystique around like an Area 51?
Okay, so I think that that's really interesting. You think about the U.S. government, for example.
Pause real quick. Yo, why did we go this whole time and I didn't get into none of the nerdy bag? Like, I just... No, because it's like, I forgot, like, at some point I just forgot this nigga was an astrophysicist. It was just like, this is a cool ass nigga. Very great opinions.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so, you think if I were to try and explain it in a way that seemed grounded in, like, what was real and what we know... the U.S. government, how much money do we spend on defense? $1 trillion, an unrealistic amount of money, right? And a lot of that is going to be in like developing tech, developing things that nobody knows about, no other countries know about. Other countries are also doing this, right? And so it wouldn't surprise me that there were a number of objects that we've created that are different than what you and I and the people in this room know about, that sometimes maybe get caught on camera. And the U.S. government is never going to come forth and say, oh, yeah, we're testing this new invisibility shield. Of course, they're not going to say that. In fact, from their perspective, it may even be better to fan the flames of we have no idea what this is. We've been investigating it and we can't find out either. So I think that there's an element of that. I think there's also really a strong element of things looking a certain way. Like, people hate this explanation, but weather balloons on camera at a distance, like moving in between clouds, they look weird. They look like little orbs or discs that are like zooming through the sky. But oftentimes it's literally, you could explain it by it just being something simple like that, like trash. Yeah.
I think oftentimes the human mind wants like the most...
Oh, we love that. We love stories. We love to be fascinated. Yeah. We love,
Yeah, because if it's just something simple like weather balloon, it's just like, fuck, I wish it was something else. Because, like, black people love the fucking Anunnaki. Like, we love the idea of black aliens coming and saving us from, like, this evil white society. But then it's like...
The Anunnaki.
Yeah, but okay, I got something else for you after this, and then we can go. But my thing is, like, the way that you just explained this kind of, like, debunks all of that. It's like they're not as... They weren't as evil as they were sick. Like, physically ill and carrying disease with them. It's like wiping people out by the hundreds of thousands. And also, like, think about how powerful that'll make you feel. Like, nigga, we show up places and niggas die.
You talking about the aliens?
No, I'm talking about white people.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying I'm back on white people.
Got you.
No, well, I'm saying this because like we think about like the Anunnaki as like something to save us from colonialism in a way, but then the way you explain colonialism is like, nah, they just was carrying diseases. Yeah, and it's kind of like inflated their ego, where it's just like all we did was show up. Niggas just started dropping dead. You know what I'm saying?
But you know how did they describe it? They literally describe it as manifest destiny. That is their God-given right. God wants them to spread across and spread, you know, their beliefs, their culture. It is. They do see themselves
if I was like
that.
Cancer in human form, I would probably believe that too.
Yeah.
Quick question. So you wanted to make it a point that I didn't call you an astrologer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for a minute.
Okay.
Let's talk about let's
astrology.
Let's make all the black girls mad. So, how do you feel about astrology?
I'm gonna say right now I love all the crystal girlies out there. But
yes.
So, you know, a lot of people, well, here's the thing. If you ask me to get into the science behind astrology, I'll tell you it's a pseudoscience. It isn't a real science. Like, I can tell you the effect that Jupiter has on you. I can actually calculate it. I can show you the equation, and we'll see that the effect is smaller than like the phone on the other side of the room has on you gravitationally, right? And any effort that has ever been made to like test the predictions of astrologers or match like psychological traits with your birth month, any sort of study that has been like reputable has not ever been able to find anything beyond like a random correlation, like what you would expect if it was just completely random. So I've never seen any evidence to suggest that there's anything like valid about that. However, I do deeply resonate with this idea that I think everybody who's into astrology, or at least most people have, that they are connected to the universe, because I think we are connected very much. I mean, we know for a fact, one of the greatest scientific facts, in my opinion, that we know is that, you know, the metal in this mic, the carbon in this tree, the oxygen in my lungs and your lungs right this second, the only way to create these atoms that are heavy, they have like lots of protons and lots of electrons, the only way to make them is in the collapse and explosion of a star that happened billions of years ago. Like, we don't know there's no other way to make these things. This is the only way you can synthesize these atoms. So in a very real and literal way, we are made up of like the stuff out in space that went through a life cycle billions of years ago. So it's like we are connected to the universe, you know?
We are literally the universe.
We are literally just little boxes of the universe that can walk around and make decisions.
I believe that too.
Which is amazing to think about. Yeah. Right? And I really like to think about, I mean, I also have non-scientific beliefs. I feel like the purpose that I have in the universe is like unique to me. It'll never come again. It'll die when I die. So a part of what my job is to do, to like the duty that I feel, whether it's to black people, whether it's to young men, whether it's to my family, to the universe, to humanity as a whole, is to fulfill that role that the universe has sort of created me that nobody else can fulfill, because I'm a little bit different. I got a little different DNA. I have a little bit different childhood experiences. We all do. Everybody does.
I feel the exact same way.
Everybody does. And only you can do that thing in that way. Yeah. And that's why you got to fight that pull that of the group that's like pulling you away from your center and your voice and like kind of drowning it out with noise. I got distracted from whatever you asked. I forget what you asked.
No, I just wanted your thoughts.
Oh, the astrology thing. Yeah. So, I mean, totally resonate with that like feeling of connectedness to the universe. And oftentimes when I find myself like kind of debunking these things, you weren't a dickhead because of Mercury, you weren't a dickhead because of Jupiter or anything like that. You were just a dickhead. It's as simple as that. And I think that people, they have this deep feeling of being connected to nature and to the universe. And if I debunk something about astrology, it feels like I'm saying that thing is wrong that feels very right, that I also agree with, which is that I feel like we are connected to the universe.
I have a strong feeling and sense of connection with the universe and nature and things, animals, plants around me, like in a real way. I just, when people start talking about fucking retrogrades and shit like that, I'm just like, bro, please, bro. Because it's like, because here's the other thing too, that it's like fascinating about humans. the collective belief in something does make it true.
Oh, absolutely.
You know
Our whole society works like that.
Exactly.
We believe in a dollar. We believe in a religion.
Yeah.
We believe certain things are rude and certain things are polite.
Yeah, so I think that if y'all collectively think that all of our if y'all collectively think that in this period of time you're going to experience communication, you will.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. You're gonna see the things that confirm it, confirmation bias, and you'll just ignore all the things that don't. Now, unfortunately, I was born on December 21st, so I'm a Sagittarius, and if you go through and read the Sag horoscope, I do check every single one of those boxes. That's an unfortunate coincidence that people realize when they read it.
People never know what I am until I tell them, and then when I tell them, they're like, that makes so much sense, and that's what I hate about it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think that we express a spectrum of traits and like abilities and emotions, and I think that like we are all of the zodiac signs if we want to be. You know what I mean? Because you know, I think it's some nature versus nurturing going on in there. And then I know girls that they start to get into like the sun rising and the moon sign and then the Chirons and shit like that. And I'm like, yo, I'm out. But I do believe that a collective belief in something can make it a like very real thing for people. So I don't step on people's toes, but I just
people believe
like,
all different sorts of things.
Yeah, they believe mad shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else got like science questions for you? Got anything science related you want to know?
Nope. Oh no. I'm gonna give you this. That's something I believe in though.
Okay.
I do believe Earth is a rite of passage.
What do you mean?
You have to get it right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the universe, right? If you study the universe,
Mm-hmm.
so there's what is that thing called? The nebula. What is it called?
Like a nebula is a thing. What are you thinking of? Galaxy and nebula?
Yeah, like you see these pictures of space, and it's like this beautiful thing, right?
Yeah. It's like a nebula. It's this big, huge, like a bunch of gas, basically, and dust. There's different colors.
So there's different solar systems in the universe, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like you have to get it. This is on a spiritual thing. You have to get it right here, and then once you get it right here, you can go and travel spiritually to these different places.
You feel like Earth is like purgatory a little bit?
Kind of.
Yeah.
You have to get it right here.
Yeah. As a scientist, what do you fall like spiritually? How does that?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. So I would say, well, first I want to say, based off of what you said, I think that is like a beautiful belief that at the very, if nothing else, it pushes you towards getting it right. Right. That's like something that is meaningful for you. And I can tell you that one day the sun is going to expand and like burn up the earth, and all of the atoms that's in our bodies right now will go off into space, and someday in the future may even end up, like, I'm not talking about a spirit, I'm actually physically talking about the atoms, could possibly go into another star system somewhere and another planet that also forms life, which is crazy to think about. But I would say that I'm spiritual in this way where I feel connected to the universe and a duty to it to be whatever I am, and to like find that and to have a positive impact wherever it is that I can, which is, I think, a spiritual belief, but it's not religious. I was raised Catholic, but I think I started asking some questions that were stumping people who should have been a lot older and smarter than me at a very young age. And I just think I figured that at least what I was taught about religion and God was that I know that I can't be smarter and like more ethical and more just than God. So, and I'm like 12. So it's no way. So for me, that was just some of these things were a bit too far-fetched to believe. But I do think that I'm very spiritual in feeling that connectedness to the universe, to my community, right, to humanity even as a whole. And yeah, for me, that's like a very spiritual thing.
That's real.
What about you?
I identify as agnostic, which is like I could never be an atheist. I just don't like believing in nothing doesn't make sense to me. But I do believe that there is like I do feel like this sense of connectedness to something greater than me.
Yes,
I do feel like sometimes observed by something greater than me, if that makes sense. I do feel like a duty and a purpose to like impact humanity and be in a better way. And I do feel like that will have an effect on something that exists after I'm gone, like whether it be my soul or anything like that. But I just don't believe, I believe similarly to you that like there's nothing I can do wrong in the eyes of God, because like if you created this and understand this and like all of its vastness and like all of its undiscoveredness as well, then like nothing I can do can be out of like the realm of explanation to you. Like you literally understand. Actually, I'm very simple and stupid to you. So it's like I don't concern myself with what God will think about me, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever people's idea of God is. So I believe in like a higher power of like just connectedness between humans, right?
Yeah.
And I think that expands into the universe in some way or another. But I just don't like identify it with like the Christian God or like the God of Islam or anything like
100%. And it seems like throughout history, a lot of humans have felt that and have like described it in different ways.
Yeah.
In a lot of the earlier cultures, they had animism where they like believed in like the spirit of things, like the spirit of the mountain, the spirit of the wind, the spirit of certain animals or the earth or the sun.
Yeah.
And it just feels like we've always been trying to like describe that and get in touch with it. And over the past like couple thousand years, I guess a few monotheistic religions kind of like really took hold and sort of got like away from that to the point where people will say, oftentimes the people who are like staunchly follow some of those religions will refer to what you just talked about or what I just talked about as like very demonic. Like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I that's another thing too. It's just like I'm not gonna get phased out by shit like that. Like you don't know any better than I do, to be honest. Like in my opinion, you know, and I think also I don't have like a fear around it, so it doesn't like push me or pull me in any type of way. Like even me calling it God,
a lot of that is fear based.
Yeah,
it is. It's like I don't want to burn in hell.
Yeah,
but I don't think that anything in the universe that made me has plans for me to burn for eternity.
To me, it's like the concept of that doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't even make sense as a concept.
Even to be honest, the concept of heaven doesn't make sense either. You know what I mean? Because like paradise seems boring.
You would. Yeah.
It seems boring. Like everything's good, everything's great all the time.
Yeah.
Like how I resonate as a human, knowing that that's not a reality for me.
It's not real.
Just like everything isn't good or bad all the time. It's just like an ebb and flow of everything. All of these emotions. I wouldn't want to be in a fixed state of everything being good. It would probably bug the fuck out of me. I don't want to be in a fixed state of everything being bad. But I think that those extremes compel people to be able like of a very controlled behavior here. And it's also very beneficial to people who are in power for whatever reason. So I think that even like with me identifying it or calling it God isn't like the way an agnostic would identify it. But I'm also like very like empathetic towards humans. So I know that this is what you identify that feeling as. So I could just call it God. It's not a big deal.
It's the same. The way that I think of the universe and my purpose and the connection with it is what I know that people are talking about when they're talking about God.
I know that's what you're talking about. So it's like, I ain't tripping on that. I don't have to find a new word for it, bro. You know what I mean?
It's almost the thing.
It's going to be an extreme waste of my time and energy to find a new word for this thing. You know what I mean?
And a lot of the outspoken, I think you find this a lot in science, is like the very outspoken, proud atheists. They like do their best to like argue that religion down, which I can understand in a sense, but at the same time, it's like you're removing like the very human thing, and that's a big problem that I have with a lot of science communication, is that it takes away that feeling of being connected, because I can tell you like the science behind it doesn't make sense. But I still feel it. And you can't you can't like, it's like the Indiana Jones scene where they remove the jewels and you gotta like replace it. So you know what I'm talking about? So the big ball doesn't come and wreck the tomb. And it's like when you like offer people this scientific explanation, but you take away the thing that they needed, which was less about the explanation and more about feeling connected. You like remove that
also,
human
like,
aspect.
We need like hopefulness and things like that. We need things to believe in. I feel like at the very least, our purpose here is to make things better. And like this is like a big criticism of mine too. Is like we've like been entrusted with this earth and this place that we reside, and like we're doing our damnedest to destroy it, doesn't make sense to me. If this is divine, like you're literally destroying the vehicle that we've been given to drive this divinity. But also another part of me is just like, I think atheism isn't in and of itself a religion.
You think that it is or is not?
Atheism is a religion in the way that they practice it, because there's a constant pursuit to disprove existence. Disprove the existence of something. Yeah. Also creates like a culture of religion.
I see how. Yeah, I see how. I do understand what you're saying. I think it also depends on who you're talking to, because a lot of, I'm friends with tons and tons of scientists. Lots of them that identify as atheists, and it's, it can be dependent, but almost anything can be a religion. You could almost describe. I feel like I sort of subscribe to the religion of science in a sense. Science isn't a religion, but there are many things that we know scientifically that I personally don't know, because I'm not like a medical health scientist or something like that. So I'm not like a medical health scientist, but I trust that. That's sort of religious. Like, I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, but you trust that they're doing the science.
I'm trusting that they enacted the method properly. And there is a little bit of a religious aspect to that, where it's a belief. Yeah, like I believe that these doctors and that this, this process they went through is right and healthy and accurate. And I can like acknowledge that. I think it's a little bit dishonest to not acknowledge that, you're like taking this on faith. You're taking this is your belief that this stuff is accurate. We do that like with
mad shit.
You have to. You have to.
Driving is, I have to trust that these other people on the road are operating this vehicles the same way, because all of our lives are at stake. You know what I mean? But the thing, I think, and also I think these things happen with people early in their beliefs too. Like when you arrive to atheism, you want to tell everybody. I think that's like the fascination of us discovering anything new about ourselves, or any new passion, or any new I wouldn't bring up God in a conversation. You know what I mean? Like I would just care more. It
is. People will ask me, "Oh, like how has science impacted your?" And I think then that gets into a interesting discussion. But I'm not going around trying to like find beliefs of people to shoot down. Or
I think that's something that happens to people when they're fresh in their belief, and I think that they're like trying to confirm. That
trying to proselytize and get it out there.
Yeah, I'd be like, get away from me. But I think that I don't even like. I think a big part of it. I wouldn't call it a waste of time. I would say that I feel like there are more important and concrete things for us to worry about here in this life that we can actually change, instead of focusing so much on what happens after we die.
That's all the power that we have, is that window from when you open your eyes to when you close them.
And it's like actually not even long.
At all. Yeah. And I just go back to whatever maximum possible impact that you can have. Once you're gone, it's done forever. There's no iteration of you in my mind that's ever coming back. So like what you can do in that window with what you were given is it's critical that you find that and that you leave that imprint.
Yeah. You ever did shrooms before?
I never have done shrooms, but people tell me that I should.
I don't know if it's a should or shouldn't thing. It was kind of going to parlay me into my, do you believe in like parallel universes and shit? I believe that there may be other universes that exist, but not necessarily in like this, not in the Marvel universe way where there's like another universe where me and you are but like we're swap seats. Right? Or we're actually both women. Or, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really believe in that but I do think that there are probably other universes. I mean, we live in one, so it makes sense that there might be other. But not like a copy of you somewhere else.
I personally don't believe that. Yeah. There are some people who like make that argument though.
Yeah, I think anything's possible.
Yeah. I think and we don't know.
Yeah. I think the beautiful thing about science too is like I do enjoy like this conversation that we're having, like the different range of topics we touch on. It's like that's what I enjoy the most about people. It's just like that conversing, because we're like collaborating on ideas about things, right?
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, it's like my favorite shit in the world. Definitely. I think, man, you could probably like the scientist, non-scientist thing. Yeah, but it's all like science. You know what I mean? We're all like doing science all the time. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just whether or not people are seeing it the way that they're enacting their method of going through things, it is a science. It's a method.
Yeah, that is all it is. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for pulling up, bro. Like, for real,
no, I appreciate it. I'm glad it worked out. I was out here, been looking forward to it. Yeah, man.
Y'all are in LA, right?
We're in LA, so we got a studio. There's 2 studios that we use. There's the new one that we just built in Tulsa, and then there's one in LA as well. So
when
definitely,
are y'all
if you
gonna
out there,
start rocking with the one in Tulsa?
we already did. So I fly out there basically like once a month now, and we'll shoot like a batch of episodes. Justin is actually coming up to LA in the beginning of December, and we're gonna do a few episodes, and then I'll probably head back later in December to Tulsa.
I've never been to Tulsa, so I would love to come out there.
Yeah.
So if y'all
that'd be
want to
dope,
send me,
man.
if y'all send me a shoot schedule, well, I'll come out there
For sure.
Like, we can get a couple. I mean, maybe just one or a few, or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Whatever y'all
man.
want to do, whatever.
That'd be
best
dope.
For the
Yeah,
time.
I mean, this was a fascinating. This is what I like to do. Man, I know it's what you like to do. You got a podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like having that range, and I think it's really important, especially when we touch on some of these topics. It's cool to like think about these things and talk about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's intriguing too for the audience, just it'll start helping them like explore the possibilities of things outside of like just things you see on social media.
Yeah, man, there's this whole universe of ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's fun to play with them.
Yeah.
And throw away the ones that you don't need it.
Exactly.
Man.
Well, I mean, always open door for you, bro.
Appreciate it, bro.
For us to have these conversations. I think it's impactful and intriguing, so I enjoy it. Thank you for coming, man.
Thanks for having me, bro. It's been dope.
Dr. Dakotah Tyler, man. And y'all know where to find him. Y'all know where to find me. Big Ice Cupcat behind the camera. And this is another episode shot at Creative Soul Studios with my boy Ferg. So we'll catch y'all next time, bro.
Turn me up, man. It's just rap. You know what I'm saying? I just want to rap, I just want to rap, man. I just want to rap.
Fate was on my side.
Yeah.
Was my fate was on my side.
Man. Yeah. They say without the proper labor, faith don't stand a chance. I put my faith in faith and stand on fertile land. I planted seeds that'll indeed turn into trees. Be forest and peace teas get printed to me.